Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rank 'Em. It's going to be a fun one. David talking about top 12 biopics. I know in the past we've done musician and non-musician biopics, but this is the first time it's just been a general biopics run about across the board. I've got a bunch of great people here. We've got Jonathan. Jonathan, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Combating a headache. Just this weather change is just crazy for me. But yeah, I'm here to talk about biopics with a great panel, and it was a daunting task naming a lot of good biopics. So let's see how many we can discuss here and get in that top 12.
Also, we've got Richie. Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Good to be back here. Yeah, it's going to be hard to narrow it down to 12, but yeah, it should be fun. And just in case people are curious, that's Addy. That's yeah.
Part of the discussion.
Also, here we've got Tony. Tony, how's it going?
It's going well. Happy to be back on Rank 'Em. Got a whole bunch of movies. We'll see what makes the top 12, and I'm pretty much going, hey, I'm just going to pick movies from a list and just whatever I feel like talking about. So.
Also here we've got Chad. Chad, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. I got a similar attitude to Tony. I mean, you know, when done right, I think biopics are some of the best movies. I'm very excited to see what everybody brings up and see what I can get on this list.
And last but not least, we've got Alex. Alex, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, it's a very similar approach to both Tony and Chad. I just started down a whole bunch of biopics that I really genuinely love. Some not so popular, some very popular. So I'm really kind of excited to see how all of our lists combine today.
That with that being said, because we've got a even number of people, what's going to happen is the person who nominates the first movie, they're going to be nominated, and then it's going to come down to the other 5. We did have an extra person here before, but the technical difficulties kind of got them, and they couldn't be here. But that being said, Jonathan, we're going to you first.
Okay, it's going to be interesting. Okay, so when I was naming the biopics on my list, I wanted to feature biopics that center more on the person than the event itself. And I rewatched one yesterday that centered more on the person's journey from a small time gangster in Harlem to like a member of Islam. And as he's going on a pilgrimage to Mecca. And I'm going to nominate Spike Lee's Malcolm X. I think this is a great American biopic with an excellent performance by Denzel, who should have won the Oscar for Best Actor over Pacino, which Pacino should have won a lot earlier in the 70s. But yeah, this is a great sprawling epic about an important figure, talking about so many topics that are relatable today in our society. Yeah, this is one of the few great Spike Lee movies, and nominate Malcolm X, and this should be on the list.
Richie, what do you say about Malcolm X?
Yeah, I thought Jonathan would bring it up. I saw that he letterboxed it, so I was like, I was prepared for to talk about this. Yeah, I really like Malcolm X. I think it's definitely obviously, like I said, that's a movie that Denzel should be nominated for. Yeah, I have no problem with this being on the list. I think it's great. You know, like Denzel has a really a knack of just becoming whoever character he portrays. But it might not be the only time you hear Denzel on this list. But I would say yes for Malcolm X.
Tony, what do you say about Malcolm X?
Malcolm X is a great movie. It's not personally on my huge list of movies because I'm not like I've only seen the movie once, and while it's good, it wasn't one that I like felt the need to go back to. But having said that, it's Malcolm. I mean, it's Denzel, pretty much at his best, and like you said, John, it is a sprawling movie over the decades. I'm not going to say no to it. So yeah, absolutely, that can certainly be in the top 12 as far as I'm concerned. So,
Chad, what do you say about Malcolm X?
Yeah, I mean, Tony makes a good point to say that it doesn't, it's not really like rewatchable per se, but I think once is enough to know that it is definitely a great movie. The wife and I watched this a couple years ago, I think, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day for the first time, and we it was kind of daunting being like I think over 3 hour movie, but it did not feel it. It was like so well paced, and I learned a lot about Malcolm X. I knew it was a controversial figure from history, but I didn't know much about like his story. I know that like there's a lot of like negative stuff against him, but then you get to kind of understand who he was through Spike Lee and Denzel in this, and they just did such a great job. And I don't want to give away. Well, I guess we know for history. So like when what happens at the end happens, it's heartbreaking.
This episode is going to be spoiler filled.
There you go.
Spoilers: Mozart was a musician.
And Gus Fring did it apparently.
Alex, what do you say about Malcolm X?
I will abstain from this one since I have not seen it. I
highly recommend.
Assume it's been on my watch list for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I'm sure when the time comes, I will love it though. But for now, I'll abstain.
I mean, with 3 yeses, it does make it on. I also have not seen it, ironically enough.
It's a strong recommendation.
This is what I knew was bound to come up. I tried to find it. I just couldn't find it. One of these days, I'll watch it. Maybe by the time we do a Denzel Washington Malcolm. But with that being said, Richie, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
All right, I'll bring up a more sort of recent one. I thought was really kind of threw me with how great it was. I'm going to go with I, Tonya. I think I, Tonya is a great biopic. I think Alison Janney, like particularly as a mum, gives her career best performance. This is like just this spiteful, unlikable. But she's just like she's amazing. Like Margot Robbie's amazing. It's got a great stand-up performance by Paul Waterhauser. I think it's certainly it's probably not the easiest watch. None of the characters are particularly likable, but it is. I just love the way it's done, and I thought I have to bring it up. So yeah, I would say I, Tonya.
Tony, what do you say about I, Tonya?
I'm going to have to abstain from this. This is a movie I haven't seen yet. We all have a huge list of movies that we just haven't gotten to yet. So this one happens to be on mine. So,
Chad, what do you say about I, Tonya?
No worries, Tony. But Richie, I got your back here. I was not going to not have I, Tonya on my list. I saw that in the theater. I loved it. They took this like crazy like semi-tragic like controversial sports thing that happened, and they made like this really fun kind of like comedy out of it. And there's like betrayal, and Paul Walter Hauser is hilarious in this. And I just also love the way they tell it in a kind of like unconventional way with the unreliable narrator format. And I just think that's like so cool because you're like, wait, what really happened? Because so many different people are telling their sides of the story. I love that trope. Fun movie.
Alex, what do you say about I, Tonya?
I really enjoy the movie. I love the movie, but I'm going to vote a no on this. Personally, I don't think it's a very recent movie compared to some of the other biopics that we're going to be discussing, I think. And I personally don't think enough time for me has gone by for me to rewatch it, appreciate it in much more depth compared to some other films on that we're going to be discussing later today. I don't think it should be in the conversation of top 10 biopics of all time. I think it's a great biopic, but not of all time. Maybe of the decade.
Fair.
But I mean, or the past 25 years or what have you. But of all time is very difficult. That's a little bit harder to stress.
That's fair.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going to go no on this. I do really enjoy I, Tonya. When I was making my list of this kind of got pushed down by a bunch of others that I watched specifically for this. So yeah, unfortunately, does have to go into Jonathan. Jonathan doesn't make this list.
No pressure.
Wow. This is going to be one of those nights again. Almost every single episode comes to me. I, Tanya, it's a really good movie. It does. Craig Gillespie does a very good job combining the tonal shifts between the drama of the ice skating story with her mother basically controlling Tanya, and the skating scenes, of course, the controversy, and also the comedic aspects of the whole situation. It's sort of like an ice skating version of Goodfellas in a way. With the pulp, the soundtrack, and everything else. But also, what it does really well is humanize Tanya Harding, especially towards the end, and when we find out that she can no longer ice skate for the rest of her life. I mean, that breakdown in the courtroom scene, it's wonderfully acted and earned Margot Robbie the Oscar nomination. Having said that, though, I kind of follow Alex's point there. It is a bit too recent to consider it as an all-timer for the biopic list. Probably about 10 years down the road, maybe. It is one of the stronger ones of the decade for sure. But it's a slight no for me, but it is a very good movie.
But with that, Tony doesn't make this list. Tony, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Well, first movie I'm going to bring up, it's as a fan of, older movies, this one was a no-brainer, and Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, you could call this top 12 movies of all time, and this is in the discussion. So, in terms of biopics, I mean, it was a no-brainer to me. I mean, we're talking about, a sprawling epic about Malcolm X, and certainly the story of T.E. Lawrence going his arc through meeting Prince Faisal, getting Aqaba, and then he starts, kind of, feeling his own hype, and then just kind of everything between the Turkish Bay, and it's just a great movie, and Peter O'Toole gives one of the best performances. So, yeah, I'll stop rambling. You guys.
Chad, what do you say about Lawrence of Arabia?
So I might have to turn in my film fan card here. I haven't seen the movie yet. I really want to. It's just one of those, where I just haven't gotten around to it. I really would like to, if I can ever, at some point, I'd like to watch in a theater for my first time, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to. We'll have to see if they show it.
Yeah, I did it a couple years ago. It's worth it.
Nice.
Alex, what do you say about Lawrence of Arabia?
It's one of my favorite movies of the 60s. It's one of my favorite classic films. It's one of my favorite epics. I love this movie. Alec Guinness, he does one of his final performances, collaborating with David Lean, obviously. But it's, in my humble opinion, the superior Dune adaptation. But, because they're like 90% the same. But I know the thing is I say yes on it, even though I don't feel like it's a very effective biopic. It is, however, based on a real person. It's so not correct based on his life, but it's close enough where like we're technically calling it a biopic, and I vote yes, but it's also visually speaking fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is one I've tried to watch on many occasions. I just couldn't get. I have not seen the whole thing. One of these days, I will try and watch the whole thing. But yeah, I've tried to watch it. But Jonathan,
It's a no for him, fam.
You know what?
Hurtful.
Lawrence of Arabia is a visual feast for the eyes. It's 100% yes. It's a classic for a reason, and it's David Lean's finest film. Yeah, Peter O'Toole definitely makes a star out of this performance. I mean, his eyes are like the star for sure. But yeah, it's a wonderfully technical achievement with a grand story. Another sprawling epic, like you said, Tony. Yeah, it's a long movie, but it's worth it. Definitely to watch once in your lifetime for sure. So yes, yes.
There was a 15-minute intermission when it was released in theaters. So just saying, food for thought.
Yeah, yeah.
That was very common though back in the day.
Yeah.
But Richie, it falls on you this time. What do you say about Lawrence of Arabia?
You fucking kidding me? I don't like being the deciders things. No, it's all right. Yeah, I might have might need to hand him a film card for another reason. Like I have
I
a list
think
about
3
30.
said yes though,
Yeah. Isn't it
Yeah.
3 yeses?
Yeah,
because I had to abstain.
yeah.
Well,
it was
I don't count because it's a even.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, this is
okay.
one.
By the way,
Yeah,
this is one of the
I,
ones where I thought it would be unanimous. So, thanks for
Me
bringing
too,
that one
actually.
up.
Yeah.
This is.
I have to. Yeah. So like I have seen the film. I've got a list about 30 on my list, and it just wasn't on my list, and I just absolutely forgot it. I do really like the film. It is a classic. So you know what? It's on the list. Yes.
Richie, we're gonna be friends. I know it. That's what it is.
But next up, we go to Chad.
Yes, and I know exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go with one of my favorite films. Now, it had to actually grow on me a little bit, but I think, and everybody, like, at first when they heard about the concept of this film, didn't really know what it was going to be. But then when it came out, I feel like it's almost unanimous, like one of the greatest films, The Social Network. This movie, I'm not even that big of a Fincher fan, to be honest. But yeah, I can't ever say no to this movie. I love this movie so much. I just think it had like all of the perfect casting. Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg, and Andrew Garfield's amazing in it, and then Armie Hammer as two brothers. Was really, really cool. Even though he's kind of like whatever now, but then it was like, whoa, okay. And I just think it has like Trent Reznor did the score for this. Like the Nine Inch Nails guy did like this really neat, awesome, score for this movie. It's just everything about it is just so intriguing. There's also betrayal. I guess there's a theme here that I really like that kind of stuff in movies. And it's just like, yeah, the main character is not a likable guy, but you don't really you're not really rooting for him. You're just trying to see where this is going to go. And you kind of feel bad for Garfield's character, and it's just there's a lot of feelings and a lot of excitement in this movie, and I just think it's perfectly done.
Alex, what do you say about The Social Network?
I'm gonna vote a no on this one. I saw this movie very recently for the first time, actually, just a few weeks ago. Jonathan knows this, and there's a lot to appreciate about this movie that I really did enjoy. But I watched it again earlier this week for this, and I was like, yeah, I'm still kind of bored the entire time. I watch it and I'm like, yeah, the casting is great. I really want to be into this, but I'm a little lost. I'm confused. I don't like it. As far as certain storylines, I'm like, wait, who's he fighting against in this one versus this case versus this case? I'm like, I don't understand. It was very confusing for me personally, and I just didn't like it all that much personally. So that in that case, I'm gonna vote a no personally.
Yeah, this is a very meta pick. But no one got the joke. Okay, but anyway.
It's
okay.
parent company. Facebook is not changing its name.
I didn't even hear what you said. I was
I was like meta joke.
I was like something pick. I was like, I didn't hear what he said.
Like the change on that brand name. Like, what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't open with it. No.
But anyway, I'm waiting for the sequel where they talk about the whole lawsuit against the actual company Meta that's suing them. But that being said, I enjoy Social Network. I'm also going to give it a slight no. Like this kind of fell outside of my top 30 that I've got on my sort of personal list. And yeah, it's a good movie. But yes, Jonathan, what do you say about The Social Network?
So The Social Network is on the threshold on the my top 12. And I think this is one of the great movies of the 2010s. It was number 1 on my personal list of the best movies of the 2010s. So as you can figure out that I'm going to say 100% yes. It does follow a person that you do not like as much, because what the movie does really well, both David Fincher and Aaron Sorkin, is that the whole movie, even though it's a progression of the company and also Zuckerberg's journey, it circles back to the first scene where Rooney Mara's character says that he's going to be an asshole, and he's still an asshole at the very end of the movie. So it is,
and to this day too.
Yeah, and it's still to this day.
So that means he's healed, right? That means he's a good guy now.
But I mean, even with the biopic, you don't have to like the person. You just have to find the person interesting. And I did find the journey and the person interesting, even though he doesn't change. So this is 100% yes for me. I love The Social Network. It's a great movie. Yeah, great movie.
Richie, what do you say about The Social Network?
Yeah, like Chad said, there's sort of a movie that when it was announced, I'm like, Facebook wasn't that old, but at the time, I'm like, okay, that's interesting to do a movie, this quick about that. But but I do like how it's not like this sort of they don't sugarcoat anything. That Zuckerberg is portrayed as an asshole, and he has no. There's no sort of part of redemption where he realizes his actions. He's an asshole from the start to the end of the movie. It's a really fascinating movie that I didn't expect to like. Great cast all around. Justin Timberlake's really good in this movie. Did not expect that. Because prior to that, I think he'd done The Love Guru and was a voice in Shrek. And he's not a trained actor, so I wasn't expecting such good performances from him. But it was definitely on my list. It's one of the better biopics come out in the last 10 years, so I would say yes.
Tony, it falls on you. What do you say about The Social Network?
For me, I think this is a wonderful movie. And I went into this movie I was just like, I don't want to see a movie about Facebook. This looks fucking dumb. Anytime it's on, though, I can't turn it off. So it's gonna be a yes for me. And it's funny. Talk about how he was an asshole then. It's like, hey, based on the past 5 years, all the shit that's come out, it's like, hey, movie actually kind of went a little easy on him. So, but yeah, it's great, and the score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is just dynamic.
They can do no wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah. But Alex, we go to you. What is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Y'all are gonna get excited, okay? I know for a fact every one of y'all are gonna pick yes for this pick, okay? Because I'm beating y'all to it. I'm gonna go with a movie called Goodfellas. Yeah. Did you guys know it was biopic? Because it is. Fun fact. It's actually based on a biography called A Wise Guys: The Life of Henry Hill. Obviously, and the script was actually co-written by Nicholas Pileggi, who wrote the book, and obviously with Scorsese as well. But I have to admit, I do not enjoy this movie. This is not a movie I'm excited to watch whenever it comes on. I will never argue that it's a bad movie. I think it's a great movie. And it's a very hard watch. It's a very intense watch, but it's so iconic. It's so quotable, and the performances can't be beat. And there's a reason why it's one of the most popular and well-known crime films of like past 50 years. So that is why I'm selecting this movie, Goodfellas, for biopics of all time.
Yeah, Goodfellas is great. I only saw this for the first time last year, but this is a good movie. I'm easily saying yes to it. I know a lot of people will say. I mean, I know a lot of people would say that the Beautiful Valentine movie that's also based on the same guy is better, but I don't know. I've never seen that one. But Jonathan, what do you say about Goodfellas?
I mean, you know what? When I was researching the list, I had to think very long and hard about this movie, considering if it's a biopic or is it based on a true story about the whole 3 decades in the mafia. But when I thought about it, it's actually a biopic about Henry Hill.
Yes.
So it's basically the up and down of Henry Hill. It's the uprise and downfall.
That just so happens to span 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. But the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, it is a biopic about Henry Hill, and from his point of view, and also later his wife's point of view, Karen Hill. So having thought about it, yes, of course, it's 1,000% yes for me. I can rewatch this movie any day, every day, when I have the time. Goodfellas, hell yes, great pick.
Richie, what do you say about Goodfellas?
Yeah, I thought initially I didn't have it really on my list because I probably consider it more based on true story territory as a biopic. But yeah, when you think about it, it is a biopic. And yeah, I'd be hypocrite if I didn't say yes, because it's one of my favorite movies. I watch it endlessly. So yes, I would. Yeah, yes, Goodfellas.
Tony, what do you say about Goodfellas?
I say fuck this movie. Nah.
Appropriately so. You got it appropriately with Goodfellas. They uttered that movie 300 times.
Yeah,
that worked.
No, yeah.
He's coming knocking on your door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is one of the ones that I figured would be unanimous, and
that was one of my 4.
Yeah, I'm right on board with that. It's fucking Goodfellas. So I mean, there's not much you can say. I mean, obviously the shot into the Copa is just masterful film working by Scorsese, and Joe Pesci deservedly wins his Oscar for
yes.
this movie. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, Goodfellas is a yes for me.
And Chad, Goodfellas has already made the list. What would you have said?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fine with it making the list because I mean, Scorsese's great. I'm actually like kind of a growing Scorsese fan now. Like I had only seen a few of his films, not that long ago, but I actually prefer a lot more like non-mob Scorsese. All the mob ones kind of tend to like blend together for me a lot, and I think I actually enjoy Casino a little more than Goodfellas, but I think I need to revisit Goodfellas a little bit more. But I know this one is like universally loved, so it's cool that it made the list. I don't know if I would have said yes personally, but maybe with another watch, I probably would have said yes. Funny how thing is great. So.
I totally agree with you, Chad. And by the way, I prefer Casino over Goodfellas any day of the week. I just want to put that out. But I from what I read, Casino is not a biopic, so I was like, damn, well, I guess.
Sort of.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's too iffy. So I was like, I'm not gonna put it on the list.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of movies that have come up in biopic lists. Like I've looked at, like, is it really a biopic? But anyway, for my first nomination, I'm gonna get this joke out of the way. I'm bringing up Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Just kidding.
Yes, Malcolm. Yes.
I'm bringing up Walk the Line. Look, one of my favorite country singers is Johnny Cash. And so when I heard they were making a movie based on his life, I was first in line to see this movie. And like Joaquin Phoenix, like I think if I remember rightly, he was personally chosen by Johnny Cash to play the role. And Bazoin, they
really.
He was.
I think so. I know they
Mangold,
spent
picked
time
him
together
because of his. Yeah, he picked his performance based off of watching him a few years early from his performance in Gladiator. He's like, if he can make a Commodus or whatever his name, like, cool, he can make Johnny Cash. Yeah. But that was James Mangold.
But yeah, I mean, I do know that they spent time together before Johnny passed away. But yeah. But that being said, Walk the Line is great. Like, this is one that they didn't. I mean, I don't know too much about his actual life, but they definitely weren't afraid to go into the drugs and all that. They weren't afraid to sort of bypass some of the stuff that you wouldn't really want people knowing about your favorite singers. But yeah, I like this movie. Reese Witherspoon is great as June Carter. And yeah, Jonathan, what do you say about Walk the Line?
That was my next nomination. This is in my top 12. The performances are great. The direction's fantastic. Screenplay's really good. It's very impressive to see how Phoenix really is emblematic of Johnny Cash's spirit, in good ways and bad ways. And also Reese Witherspoon equally gives a strong performance as well. She deserved the Oscar for sure. James Mangold for the win. Yes, 100%.
Richie, what do you say about Walk the Line?
Yeah, this would have been my next one too. It's now going to scramble. This was fantastic. I don't really know what else to add, but yeah, like great performances all around, and one I always go back to. So yes, from me.
Tony, what do you say about Walk the Line?
I think this is a great movie. I am gonna say no, mainly because it follows the kind of the same trope that you see in a lot of musical biopics, where you're going, oh hey, getting famous, oh drugs, oh hey, I'm coming back, okay, everything's good, and it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like this movie, and I actually think out of the movies that do that trope, it's probably the best one. but I'm just gonna say no on this. But yeah.
Chad, what do you say about Walk the Line?
Well, I will say first, Johnny Cash is a goddamn legend. If you have not listened to his live album at Folsom Prison, do yourself a favor. It's amazing. Great artist aside, the film itself, I don't know. I think this was one I really liked to watch when I was younger, and I think those two actors. Um, you said it. Witherspoon and Phoenix crushed those roles. So I don't know how well it's regarded outside of here. I haven't really looked into it. It wasn't actually on my list, but I have zero problem saying yes to Walk the Line. I love that movie.
Alex, I know you recently did it for cinema bias, but what do you think of the movie?
I want to say no. Personally, I think it's a solid movie. I do think everything in the movie is pretty on point. Like you said, it's incredibly formulaic, but I think that's the point. That's it. That it was common knowledge that he had a lot of drug issues. Everyone knew that. Everyone knew he was horribly abusive and everything to his wife and family and everything before getting married to June Carter, but they didn't touch that. But with that being said, I do think it's a solid one. I don't think it's the greatest of all time. I do think it would be a really great in the conversation of best music biopics, but I don't think it would be in the conversation. I don't think it would be. It's in the best biopics of all time. Period. Personally.
Yeah. But with that being said, it's still got 3 yeses. It still does make this list. Jonathan, what is the next one you're bringing out?
Oh, man, this is a tough one. This is gonna be a tough pick. We have some serious movies on here right now. Okay. Go with the breezy biopic. Now this one surprised me. Because I kind of had I had no expectations going into this movie, and I watched this a little later when it was out on DVD. Yeah, DVD. Yes, and I didn't know what to expect from this, and it's a Steven Spielberg movie, and it's about the life of Frank Abagnale.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna nominate Catch Me If You Can. Man, Leonardo DiCaprio, this is an underrated performance from him. He just carries the movie with charisma, smooth charisma. I mean, and it's probably one of the coolest true stories ever made, if you think about it, because you question how did he get away with this at a very young age, as a teenager. I mean, it's baffling, but also underneath it, I mean, it is sad because of how it got started, because of the divorce between his parents, and he ran away and started this whole con game with many people. But also, what's fun about is Tom Hanks's Carl Hanratty on the trail, attempting to catch him, and there is one great scene where they're at a hotel room and he catches him, and DiCaprio's character Frank says that he's Barry Allen. And it was funny, but it is such an easy, underappreciated biopic that is it's a wonderful Spielberg movie. And I just wanted to bring up Catch Me If You Can.
Richie, what do you say about Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, I do really like this movie. I'm going to be honest, I don't like as many other people in this community seems to do. I do enjoy it. I think Leonardo's performance and Johnny's performance are great, but I'm going to say no on this one.
Tony, what do you say about Catch Me If You Can?
I'm gonna say yes. I think that this movie is charming as hell. I think that it's probably the last great performance we got out of Christopher Walken as pretty much the
dad.
The dad who just
The dad.
Where you going, Frank? Where you going? Kind of. But so it's a yes for me because it's just a lot of fun. It's one of those movies you can just put on, get a smile on your face. So
Chad, what do you say about Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, I fucking love Catch Me If You Can. Tony hit it on the head. It's exactly what I was thinking. It's a super fun movie. You have like these baller performances from Leo and Tom, and just watching like one of the scenes where Tom Hanks comes in and Leo's in there, and you're like, oh, the game's up, the jig is up, and then like you watch Leo as Frank get himself out of it just by pretending to be not him, pretending to be FBI or something like that, and you're like, what? And it's just like so expertly done. I don't know. It's just a really fun, great movie. There's a lot of like really interesting cameos of people who like weren't really that famous, like Amy Adams. That you go, oh shit, that's Amy Adams, and it's just it's fun for a lot of different reasons, and great movie. I love it.
Alex, what do you say about Catch Me If You Can?
There's a whole bunch of men on this list. That's what I'm thinking so far.
You said no to I, Tanya.
No.
You did.
I'm starting to regret it now. Should I just like put like what the fuck? That's more like a Hollywood thing rather than like a story thing. Anyway, but I'm gonna vote no on this one personally. I do think it's a solid film. It is one of my favorite movies of the decade. I do think if we're going to be talking about best biopics of all time, especially in terms of Spielberg, I think it's the inferior Spielberg biopic. And I think we all know what I'm talking about here. So with that being said, that's why I would say no, personally.
So I think at this point we've got 2-2.
It's up to you, Malcolm.
Yeah, I figured that.
He's stalling for time.
But I mean, the thing is, I've got a question for you. Do you know why the Yankees always win?
Yeah.
Because they cheat.
Yeah,
Ooh. Jesus.
Sorry, it's my cardinal blood coming out.
Oh, jeez.
With that being said, I love Catch Me If You Can. I do have to say yes and get it on this list. But
That was a wild card for me. I was Hey.
But that being said, we're
like,
going to move over to Richie.
Yeah.
All right. I was debating whether to put this on there now because it feels too similar, but I need to bring this up. So Leo has a lot of biopics. I feel like if you could go through his filmography, a large chunk of them are biopics. One of them that I think he does a really great performance in. And another guy, bit of a criminal, and probably college kids probably get the wrong idea by having posters on their wall idolizing him. But I'm going with The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh shit!
This movie's fantastic. I think he just Leo. It's just Leo is such a charismatic, just banging performance. Jonah Hill gives the performance of his career. You got cool cameos like Matthew McConaughey. It's just like it's just like I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like 3 hours. It's just a fantastic movie. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I kind of wanted to space out the Leo thing, but I don't know. It's in my head, so it's gonna. I had to bring it up. So yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
I swear, if it's 2 yeses and 2 nos. Oh my god.
Tony, what do you say about The Wolf of Wall Street?
I'm going to say yes. I agree with Richie. This might be Leo. This might be one of Leo. it might be his best performance, arguably. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a pretty awesome career, so
Probably, yeah. Probably,
But and it's definitely the performance of Jonah Hill's career. I agree. It's a lot of fun. I think the only knock really about the movie is more whether or not your feelings on whether it glorifies what Jordan Belfort did, or whether.
I don't think so.
But I mean, I wouldn't say it glorifies it, but I mean, he goes to prison, so but yeah, it's a yes for me. It's a fun movie. It's another one where it's like if it's on and I see it, it's like, yeah, I'll probably watch it. Oh, and introduce the world to Margot Robbie, who was just like well, fair enough. But
yeah, I know. I'm excited.
But yeah, so who was just wonderful as Leo's mistress and then wife, and then when I love the scene where she just keeps throwing water in his face. That's great scene. So, but yeah.
Ed, what do you say about the Wolf of Wall Street?
I came to this movie like really, really late. I think I saw it like in the past year, actually, because I was like, this is a big blind spot that I haven't seen, and I really need to check this one out. And I really enjoyed The Wolf of Wall Street. It's not always my humor, but you know, I think there is a lot of great humor, like the one scene where he's like all drugged out or drunk or whatever, and like crawling on the ground from his sports car. Like, it's just crazy. It's just a really crazy movie, and I just think that it's really weird and fun that he like went there and just like included stuff like that and made it the length that it is. And I just think it's a really interesting watch. It is the guy building himself up to this big thing and building this business, but then it's not such a great thing because you're like cheating people and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different morals and stuff in there and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I think if you go in to watch this movie, you will definitely get something out of it. And if anything, it's just a really interesting story that really happened. So it's crazy. So yes. The movie.
You question how did he survive that? How did he survive that?
Alex, what do you say about the Wolf of Wall Street?
I'm gonna vote yes.
Thank God.
You guys, we gotta get just heads up, y'all. We gotta get some weird shit on this list, okay? This is all like predictable as fuck so far. And it sucks to actually really enjoy like 90% of everything on this list so far. But I vote yes for everything you guys just said. Just reiterating, it's also even more amazing because Leo's y'all talked about Margot Robbie, Leonardo DiCaprio, which is amazing because he says he's never had alcohol or he's never even taken drugs because he's mentioned addiction runs in his family, so he won't touch this shit. And so he had to like talk to a lot of people with like a history of alcoholism and everything in order to understand what it would feel like and everything, which is like that much more amazing. But can we just take a moment to appreciate Jonah Hill?
Yeah.
And like to me, he stole the fucking show the entire time. But I really enjoyed the movie. Even it's a movie all about hypermasculinity, toxic masculinity, but I feel like it's incredibly satirical for what it is, and it's really weird how some people walk away with it believing it's aspirational to a certain extent. I know several people that do, which is really weird, but it's really, really fantastic movie that I can find little to no fault in overall. It's fantastic. Darkly funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street would have been a no for me. While I do like this movie, there was a better Scorsese biopic that stars Leonardo DiCaprio that we haven't talked about yet.
Ooh.
No, there's not.
I don't know about that one.
No.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, but I don't know about that.
There's not.
I mean, you can bring it up. You can bring it up if you want to. We'll knock it down. But
I mean, now that you've showed your cards on that one, I might not pick it up.
Wait, are you from Gangs of New York?
That was not the one I was talking about.
No,
But
that's the other one.
Jonathan, what would you have said about Wolf of Wall Street?
The Wolf of Wall Street is in my top 12. And I was worried it was going to be 2 yeses and 2 nos there. Scorsese knew what it was going to be, and basically an excessive movie, like an excessive 3 hours. It just keeps on going because that was what Jordan Belfort's life at the time was. It was just excessive. It was crazy. And again, like I said earlier, like I don't know how he got away with that or why or how he didn't die during that period of time. But also but yeah, it is one of the great movies of the 2010s for me. It's up there for me as well. DiCaprio's best performance by far. There was one person we did not mention yet, and that's Matthew McConaughey.
I did.
In that one scene, like, yeah, that
that's
scene.
actually more of a that movie's actually a biopic of him and his life.
Yeah, basically.
Just happened to have him
But yeah,
but
I think that
doing it on the side, and Scorsese caught him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, do that on the camera."
True.
Yeah, but that only scene, like he basically stole that scene from Leo at that moment, like because he was so dynamic, and actually his real life character had more to do with the Jordan Belfort story than it was provided on screen, and I would have loved to see more of him during that movie. But anyway, this is a fantastic movie. This is one of my favorite Scorsese movies, top 5 Scorsese movies, and it is impressive that Scorsese churns out at least one great movie per decade. And Wolf of Wall Street is the defining movie of the 2010s in his career for me. So yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Tony, we move over to you for your next nomination.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do that. Okay, I think the next movie I am going to throw out there by Steven Spielberg is Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Which follows the story of Oskar Schindler as he comes to Poland, and I mean, sorry to be the downer after Catch Me If You Can in Wolf of Wall Street, but
yeah.
But too much fun. Let's serious this shit up. But
yeah,
but
two
no,
back Leo fun movies, fun biopics.
But yeah, I mean, following him, he goes from someone just trying to profit off the war and slave labor to once he sees the horrors being done to these people, does everything he can to save who he can. And it's just, I know a lot of people have a hard time with this movie, understandably, given the subject matter. It might be one of my favorite movies, if not my absolute favorite movie, just based on the emotions that you go through. And yeah, I'll throw it to you guys on what you think. So,
Chad, what do you say about Schindler's List?
Yeah, I watched this one like exactly one time, and I feel like that's probably, maybe what a lot of people do, because it is a really, really, really hard watch. Honestly, don't really remember how like technically great the movie is, but I just know that if it's anything, it's effective, because I remember being very upset during it. I mean, obviously it really, it's in a way, it's kind of a horror movie. It's like, it shows the horrors of what humanity is capable of, and it's just so dark, and but it's important. It's one of those that Steven apparently was like really adamant about like showing unedited on cable and stuff like that, and he's like, you're not going to edit this movie. It's so important, and you're just stressing that. And I just feel like, it's like the same guy who made E.T. made this, and I'm like, it's just crazy. And yeah, I don't like love the movie, but it's just so affecting that I just feel like it has to be like just one of the most important movies. It just has to be on this list. So yes, absolutely.
Alex, what do you say about Schindler's List?
No dip, Sherlock. I mean, yes. It's one of the most it's one of the most iconic war films of all time. It's one of the best movies, directed by obviously already impressive filmography by Steven Spielberg, but everything that went on behind the scenes is like a huge motivating factor behind it that really shows how great this is. Not only was he Spielberg obviously incredibly this is an incredible personal project for him, obviously, but he was like, I need to do something to really lighten myself up after filming this incredible personal piece. So I'm going to do Lost World, Jurassic Park next. I need to take a break. But yeah, it's amazing. And not to mention, I think the use of deciding to consciously using black and white instead of traditional color. Obviously, the time is actually a very risky and amazing choice, but also including the color red during the big scene is that much more difficult to watch, obviously. But also not only knowing it's based on a true story, but also it really did a lot of really positive things upon release as well in the state of Israel, with a lot of the descendants coming together to pull through that horrible situation. So yeah, it's a very important film, even if it wasn't even if it's not your kind of cup of tea or anything. You can never argue its impact overall outside the theater in Hollywood, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Schindler's List is a good movie. I mean, this is one that I don't connect with. I don't like this movie as much as other people do.
You shouldn't.
I mean, well, not in those specific terms, but so I'm going to go no on this, but it is a good movie. Jonathan, what do you say about Schindler's List?
This is life. I mean, this list is life. It is one of the few movies that I basically sobbed during, and it's just, it is a masterpiece from Steven Spielberg. I mean, you could see that he poured his heart and soul into this project. I mean, it is, even if you watch it just the one time in your whole life, you could still remember that impact, that experience of watching that movie, that history unfolding in front of your eyes for 3 hours and plus minutes. It is a 1,000% yes for me, but I also want to focus on Liam Neeson. He delivers an underrated performance. I'm actually shocked that this is not one performance that is talked about at the higher level. I mean, we talk about his like action performances like Taken. I mean, he is extraordinary, and also Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes is evil, terrifying as Eamon Goth. Like I think I referred this in another episode where behind the scenes that Ray Fiennes scared so many extras because they think he was Eamon Goth. It was just
there was actually one of the Schindler Jews was on set.
Yeah.
Saw him.
Yeah.
Had a panic attack and had to be taken to the hospital.
Wow. That I didn't know.
And it's like, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
that would be traumatic
Yeah.
in any situation, let alone that situation.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
both of
And
them
yeah,
were nominated, I think.
he
as
was.
well.
He was nominated. Tommy Lee
Yeah.
Jones won.
Yeah, and
that year.
both
It
of
was
them
a
should have
competitive
won.
category. That was a competitive.
It was competitive. I'd give it to both of them.
Great finds. But
Liam for
and then
best
I'll
and
finish something
Chris.
about Neeson. I'll give it to Richie. But Neeson, like he was also nominated for actor. He was excellent, especially in that one scene towards the end where he was sad that he could have saved more lives towards the end. Yeah, this pin. I think two people, and then he's just there crying with Kingsley's character, Stern. This is an excellent pick. This should be on the list for biopics. Yeah, definitely of all time.
With Action's list does make the list. Richie, what would you have said about it?
I'll keep it brief, mainly because I've talked a lot about it, but also my dog's barking. So anyway, I guess like Chad, I don't have as like a whole lot of recollection from it. So it's one of those movies you can only watch one. I feel like I can only watch once. You got to be in the certain right headspace for it, I guess. But it is fantastic, and I would have said yes.
Alex, we move over to you. What is your next nomination?
I think it's me.
I think I might
I'm actually I'm not gonna go with a happy movie, but not as sad as Schindler's
We could
List.
probably use one at this point, though. So
sorry, I'm gonna go with the one that I also have seen very recently for the first time. I bought the Criterion for this. It's a masterful film in my opinion, and it's from David Lynch. The Elephant Man. I adored this movie because I think that it's just really weird that David Lynch would make Eraserhead and then Mel Brooks would give him the opportunity to make The Elephant Man and then he crushes it. Everybody's like on their A game with this. I'm going to forget everybody who's in this. Anthony Hopkins and John Hurt as the Elephant Man, and it's just so stylistically great. I mean, it also uses black and white really well, I feel like, and it's just some of the really cool like imagery with like elephants and machinery that Lynch uses to kind of set the atmosphere. And just like have like symbolism, and he's just known for doing a lot of this weird shit in his movies, but I feel like it just makes it more interesting than just a paint by numbers kind of biopic. And the makeup that they used for the Elephant Man, he's just so off-putting, but then he's like this perfect gentleman when you get to know him, and people start to realize that just because he looks different, it's not scary, but it kind of is scary because of David Lynch is a weird guy. But I adored this movie. I think it maybe should have won Best Picture. I'm not sure what beat it, but it was nominated. And
what year did it come out?
I think for good reason. Oh, I don't remember. I think for good reason. But yeah, Elephant Man,
80,
I love it.
80 or 81, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, it was released in 1980, but it was.
That was Ordinary People.
Paramount, it was in 81.
No, I never
went
saw
up against
that.
Ordinary People, Raging Bull.
Yeah, so that's a good year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ordinary People. Well, that's not the topic. Sorry.
Right, Alex, what do you say about The Elephant Man?
I'm gonna vote no on this personally. I actually think it's actually one of my favorite movies of the 80s, and I agree with you, Chad, with everything you said, except I think it's a really wonderful movie. I don't think it's a very good biopic, however. Based on, I remember doing a paper on it, And pretty much my paper was saying why it's such a bad biopic. It's not correct, and for 95% of it. And so watching it now, even as a movie fan, I acknowledge I'm like symbolism, it's beautiful and everything, but because of that, it's distracting to me how technically incorrect it was. And for storyline, but that happens all the time in movies, doesn't it? But because it is so incorrect, based on his life and everything, that's why I would have to say no personally.
I just simply haven't seen it. Jonathan, what do you say about The Elephant Man?
I am a fan of this story. I read the play and I saw the play and I did see the movie. So yeah, I was very familiar with it. It is a good movie. Yeah, a sad one for sure. A sad story. But I'm gonna vote no because I have it down on the honorable mentions and it just didn't. It was like way down on the honorable mentions and it's yeah, it's a very good movie. I need to rewatch it. I have it on my shelf behind me, but yeah, it's a very good choice. And if people haven't seen it, I recommend it for sure. It's one of the underrated Lynch movies. So yeah,
arguably his best.
Richie, what would you have said about The Elephant Man?
Well, I have to abstain. I haven't seen it either, so I've got to get to it.
Tony, what do you say about The Elephant Man?
Does that make it a no? With the two abstentions?
Yeah, it's already, like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I probably would have said no. It's a tough no. John Hurt and Anthony Hopkins are both wonderful in the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their performances are great. I'm not a big David Lynch fan. His movies just, he's got a certain style that's just never clicked with me. And but I do recognize that this is probably, out of the movies of his I've seen, the one I like most, and that's again mainly due to the performances from Hurt and Hopkins. But it probably would have been a no. It would be a no for me.
But yeah, so if that The Elephant Man doesn't make this list, it's on Alex to nominate this time.
Okay, food for thought, guys. We got like 2 left, so let's make it.
We have actually 4 left.
4.
Oh, I am completely misreading that, so forget me. I don't know what time it is anymore. I'm gonna go with a personal favorite. It's more of a sentimental pick rather than something I know people will love, or I'm sure a lot of people will really, really dislike.
Oh God.
It's, in my opinion, one of the best movies of the 90s. It is Man on the Moon. It is a biopic on Andy Kaufman with Jim Carrey. I can't remember the director off the top of my head,
Milos
but
Forman.
I think there was a lot of people in Andy Kaufman's life, his family, his agent, a lot of his friends that were heavily involved in making this movie happen because they loved Andy so much as a character, as a friend, partner, and everything, including one of his really good friends who was a producer on this movie and actually starred in it, which was Danny DeVito. And Jim Carrey, who was so obsessed and dedicated to getting the character right. He stayed in character, obsessively stayed in character for like 6 months before shooting. And even Danny DeVito, he's like, I don't know where he felt like Andy Kaufman, like really felt like having him there based on the body language and the physicality and the way he spoke, everything about him. And it's a very unique movie. It's a risky movie. It's an interesting movie. And it really didn't paint him out to be this amazing figure, which I appreciate. A lot of times biopics nowadays, they like to paint him in this like very beautiful light where they did do drugs or something like that, but they learned from it, and by golly, they're cool now. Johnny Cash, looking at you. But it doesn't do that. It really goes against the grain. It's weird and it's funny to watch, but you're also sad watching it as well.
Yeah.
And it's really I think it really pictures his life very, very effectively. So Man on the Moon, please vote yes.
I'd like to vote yes if I had seen it. It's one of my big blind spots.
It's
Huh.
so
Once
good.
again, I
Right to love
tried
or
to
hate it.
find it for this because I knew it was going to come up. I just hadn't got around to it. Jonathan, what do you say about Man on the Moon?
Ooh. Yeah, I actually forgot to write that down. But even though it has a fantastic performance by Jim Carrey, I mean,
Mhm.
that and the Truman Show 2 years in a row, he got robbed of an Oscar nomination. My goodness. I'm gonna vote no, but because I think that it's just down on my honorable mentions, and I've only seen it one time a long time ago. I remember liking it a lot, and it is an underrated movie for sure. Like nobody talks about it when it comes to 1999 in itself. They talk about other movies in 1999, but this movie is utterly fantastic. Great performances by Carrie DeVito, others, and great direction by Foreman. It is sad when you think about it about his centering on his arc. And it's darkly funny towards the end, darkly funny. But even though I do recommend it highly, I'm gonna vote no. I think there are other biopics on here that I consider stronger than that one. But Man on the Moon. I vote no, but check it out.
Richie, what do you say about Man on the Moon?
You know, I'm pleasantly surprised it was brought up. I really like this movie. I'm as a huge wrestling fan as well. I know about the Andy Kaufman and the Jerry Lawler thing, and this, so I understand that, and like it's just a really fantastic biopic, and he becomes Andy Kaufman, probably maybe to his detriment. If you've seen the documentary Jim and Andy, he comes across as the biggest arsehole in that documentary. And there's like Jerry Lawler and like Jim Ross said, yeah, he was a dick on set. But look, it's still a really good performance. It's a really great really great movie. I'd say yes, to be honest. I do really enjoy this movie. I need to go back and watch it again. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, it is, and it's a pretty sad story, and but yeah, I think Andy Kaufman is a very unique individual, and I think Jim Carrey captured that really well. So yeah, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Tony, what do you say about Man on the Moon?
Like John, I've seen it once, and it was a long time ago, and it was a movie that I thought was all right at the time. Didn't really kind of stick with me. Part of the reason why I haven't gone back to watch it. I probably should go back and rewatch it to give it another
It's not
shot.
good with first watch. Heads up, it's never that great with first watch. You appreciate it more the more you watch it. But
But having said that, I will be saying no. Although it is, like John said, it's probably one that people should watch more, and I certainly need to watch again to.
Yeah, Carrie's performance alone for sure.
Oh, heartbreaking.
So that's 2 no's, a yes, and I haven't seen it so far. Jonathan, did you say yes or no to it?
I said no.
You said no.
Yeah.
So Chad.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Chad, what would you have said about Man on the Moon?
So it kind of like other people. I haven't seen it in a very long time. I don't remember how great it is as like a film, but I have since watched the Jim and Andy documentary. I've watched a lot. I went down like rabbit holes watching Andy Kaufman YouTube stuff and just going down this. He was a genius. I'm convinced of that. Very controversial. He did some weird shit, but as a comedy figure, holy shit. And then Jim Carrey in his own right is this towering comic figure. And I think, I know also the, when you go to do that specific type of acting, where you're so into the role, for months and months and months, and that's all you do. I know a lot of people, it's controversial. Some people have done it like very poorly and stuff. But I feel like with Jim Carrey, even though he was kind of an asshole, I feel like he captured the spirit of that character so well. And I loved watching that documentary. I just don't know if I remember the movie enough to say that it's great. And I think it didn't make the list anyways. So I probably would have leaned no anyways. But
dang it, I knew I should have gone with Balto. Dang it.
But when Alex said she was going for a 90s movie, I thought she was going for one that I was about going to bring up right now. I'm bringing up 1997's Selena. Selena is, and this is one that, I mean, once again, not a happy story at all. But this is one I actually saw for the first time recently, and this is one that, this is just an amazing story, and unfortunately, it doesn't have a happy ending like most of these. But but J Lo's performance in this alone is amazing. And I think it's Edward James Olmos. That's
the dad.
The dad.
Father.
I think this is a good movie. It's been a while since I've actually watched it, but I do plan on revisiting this at some stage. But it's really good. Jonathan, what do you say about Selena?
I have a sister, and I have seen this movie many, many times. Yeah, she loves this movie. And I really like this movie too. It is one of Jennifer Lopez's few great performances. She really embodies that wonderful spirit really well. I definitely believed her as Selena. She does the choreography really well as well. Sometimes the direction is a little bit bland, but you know what? As a musical biopic, we don't have that many, and also we don't have a female on here. So, but I'm gonna go yes on this one. I'm gonna go yes on Selena. I think this is a strong enough movie that should be on the list. Yeah.
Richie, what do you say about Selena?
And here I thought the 90s movie you're going to bring up was Spice World. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I want to be on the record. I want to know I'm joking and I'm being rude. Anyway, no, I haven't seen this. I know that I'm familiar with the story. Like as a sort of cross sort of like true crime and all that stuff. So I'm familiar with the story and what happens with her. But yeah, I just haven't got around to watching it, so I have to obviously.
Tony, what do you say about Selena?
I don't have much to say at all. I actually have to abstain on this one. I have not seen Selena.
Ed, what do you say about Selena?
Well, I mean, when Jonathan said that, he knows this movie because he has a sister, like that's my exact thoughts too. Because this is a movie that my sister used to watch all the damn time.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen probably a majority of it, if I'm honest, but just like in passing. But I've never actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end. So I don't know if that counts. I probably wouldn't know enough anyways to say yes or no, honestly, but I know she really liked the movie. So
unfortunately Selena doesn't make this list. Alex, what would you have said?
I would have one called a Selenas instead of Selena.
Yeah.
Because that's how she's called it.
Yeah.
That's what she referred to throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
You guys kind of mentioned that specifically you know this mostly through like female family members, things like that. Obviously, being a female is very different for me. I kind of grew up with it. I'm not a Latina or anything like that, but I have a lot of friends that are obsessed with this movie. It's hard not to be. It's such a really great music biopic overall. But yeah, I do think we need some. I would love to see some ladies on this list, though. But I know there's so few biopics centered on female characters, which is so unfortunate. But I would have said a yes. Personally, it's a very iconic and very popular movie. I think it's just solid overall. And heartbreaking. You feel it at the end. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it, even though two of us abstained, or
there was 3 abstains.
3 abstained.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if like abstaining means like we're a no vote, and then it's just a 2-0, and it makes it.
I mean, I toyed with the idea, but it just wasn't working out the way.
That's fair.
So I just
fair enough.
Makes sense. Totally understand.
But Jonathan, we move over to you. What's your next nomination?
Do I go with the obvious one or go for the underrated one?
We already mentioned Balto, Jonathan. Come on.
This route or the other route? I think this other one will be brought up because it's shocking this movie hasn't been brought up yet, so I'm going to save that one. So I'm going to go with the underrated one, underrated biopic. I'm going to nominate Frost Nixon. This is a riveting movie. What the hell? This is a riveting movie. It's just, you have an interview that is engaging, and somehow director Ron Howard does an extraordinarily fantastic job on this interview, because it's basically a duel of words between a talk show host and a former despised president. And it's tense. It's very tense. And it's just, it features great performances from Michael Sheen and Frank Langella. And you just feel that heat. I mean, you could see the sweat from Nixon's forehead and on his mouth because he has to dab it with a napkin. It's also riveting. It has also great supporting performances from Rebecca Hall, Kevin Bacon, Sam Rockwell, Oliver Platt. I think this is one of the more underrated biopics that should be on the list. We're going to acknowledge one. Yeah, I was hoping to go with a more impactful, iconic one, but I think that will be brought up later. If it's not going to be brought up, then I'll mention it later after the 12 is decided. But yeah, I'm going to nominate Frost Nixon.
Richie, what do you say about Frost Nixon?
Yeah, I think I respect Frost Nixon more than I enjoy it. I think the performances are phenomenal. I don't know. I just think with that come down to sort of the last couple of picks. Yeah, it's not one that particularly I think of when I think of immediately think of when I think of great biopics. I'll leave it. Although I acknowledge it's really good. So I respect the bringing it up, and I'm going to say no.
Tony, what do you say about Frost Nixon?
I think actually I'm going to say no, and I think what Richie said kind of described it. I respect it more than I enjoy it. The performances are great. I think that when I watch the movie, it's like the interview, pretty much that last interview. That was great. The rest of the movie, I don't want to say take or leave as if it's just some shitty movie, like okay movie or anything. But having said that, I could probably take or leave it. But I think Richie put it. But I respect the movie more than I actually enjoy it. So I will be a no.
Chad, what would you say about Frost Nixon?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to abstain from this one. This came out when I was not really super into like great film watching, but it sounds like the way Jonathan described it and what other things that I've heard about it, and I've been meaning to watch this one. It sounds like something that I would really enjoy, just because of like the craft and the performances and stuff like that. So I really want to watch it, and I think it's what rank 'em is for sometimes, is recommending things to people. So I'm definitely going to check that one out.
And Alex, what would you have said about Frost Nixon?
Dude, this is my favorite Ron Howard movie. Fuck yeah. I'm going there. It's it's a story that in the hands of a different director could be the most boring fucking movie ever. But damn it, I'm engaged. It's weird, and also I never thought I would be like. Well, it's really funny because Frank Langella and what's his name?
Michael Sheen.
Yes, Michael Sheen. They actually did this play on Broadway together for like a season or two before putting into a movie, and so they already had like obviously really fantastic chemistry going into filming, and I think it played really well, and it's for a topic that is very controversial, but hypothetically should be very boring. Sorry, boring is not a word.
Boring.
boring to film. Based on like the premise, like you said, Jonathan, it's an interview. Like, how much interesting can watching an interview be? Like, it's incredibly riveting. It's a fantastic thriller, and even though it is based in reality, even though it's historical, you kind of don't know what's going to happen at the end, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm probably gonna be broken record, but I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it.
It's
actually no, but it's definitely one of the more underrated biopics for sure. Like, not many people talk about this movie, so
that's true.
It is.
I'm actually a little jealous to anyone who hasn't seen it. Honestly,
no, it is one of Howard's very best movies. I might.
Nice.
So yeah.
I'm so jealous of you. Oh.
Richie, what is the next biopic you're going to bring up?
Okay, I've sort of acknowledged that, like, we probably need more sort of like women biopics on this list. I'm just trying to. I'm torn between two, but I'm going to go with the one I sort of like more, but I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure if people go for it, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. It's more about like a certain period of this person's life, and where she goes off the rails. But one of the best performances I've ever seen, to this day, it's Charlize Theron in Monster, playing Eileen Wuornos.
Where I thought you were going.
Yeah, this she's just like, she just, like, you talk about someone who like just transforms into the roles. Like she's just she's just like so just captivating and iconic, and like this and just very chilling, playing this really chilling character who sort of just goes from obviously the person who's kind of tough, this sort of obviously is tough, like tough life, and then she kills one guy, and then sort of just gets kind of almost like addicted to it, and then like the weird sort of chemistry she has with her and like Christina Ricci, it's just a really good movie, and like I understand, like it's one of the more underrated ones, so I can understand why it won't make this list, but I do have to bring it up because I think that performance needs to be talked about more. So I'll say Monster.
Tony, what do you say about Monster?
Geez, I actually forgot about that movie. I remember liking it. I've only seen it once. And obviously the big takeaway is Charlize Theron's just excellent transforming performance. But yeah, screw it. I'll say yes. Why the fuck not?
Chad, what do you say about Monster?
Yeah, like I actually saw this not that long ago. I think Patty Jenkins did a really good job with this movie, and I honestly, I just don't think I can ever really say no to Charlize Theron in a movie. She's just like the best thing ever in like anything she ever does. So, and she just like, yeah, transformed into this. The only thing that I don't really like about the movie is the conversation that comes off where people try to sympathize with Eileen Wuornos, and she's like a
Yeah.
freaking serial killer that just killed a bunch of people. And it's like, no, okay. I mean, you can feel sorry for somebody like having like a tragic upbringing and stuff. Yeah, sure, but like still a murderer. But anyways, that aside, I think the movie is handled really great. I think they do like a really good job with the relationship between her and the other.
Christina Ricci.
What is it? Christina Ricci. Thank you. Yes. I
Yeah.
think they both did great
Wednesday
performances,
Addams.
and I'm very excited to hopefully maybe get like a really, because I was hoping to find like a really good like horror-esque biopic, and I'm like, this is a really fun like serial killer. I don't know about fun, but it's a really cool like horror movie that could potentially make the list. So I would say yes for that reason alone, actually, and Charlize.
Alex, what do you say about Monster?
I would recommend to you, Chad, watch Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I have. It's great.
I have to abstain for this because I have not seen it. I do kind of disagree with you, Chad, in particular because I do in terms of she is a serial killer. She also was viciously raped and assaulted and beaten to death numerous times by some of the people that actually she ended up killing. So it's definitely arguable for sure.
Discuss the politics later.
Yeah, it's definitely arguable. If I was like, yeah, I don't blame her for killing him. Oh no, but yeah, it's a very difficult topic for sure. But I have to abstain. I have not seen it, but it's on my to-do list.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jonathan, I've not seen it, so it's on you.
Damn it. Okay. Man, so Charlize is in my hands. Okay. I have seen the movie. It is a tough movie to watch regarding the subject. I do agree with Chad's criticisms of the movie. I think that Patty Jenkins tries a little too hard to make us sympathize with Eileen Wuornos, even despite the fact that she was a serial killer. Boy, that's a tough one. Monster.
Let's do the Jeopardy thing, Malcolm.
I know. That's a good call. Here's why I'm gonna say yes, because I think Charlize gave one of the best performances from an actress in the last 20 years. And it is transformative. It is excellent. And the way, like, I did not know it was Charlize when I saw the poster. Like, that's Charlize? Damn. Like, fantastic. And yeah, she
that's how you get an Oscar. You got to go.
And she got an Oscar. Yeah. And deservedly so.
Win.
And deservedly so. And it is a good movie with a great performance. And yeah, Monster. Yeah. Yeah, Monster. That's a good call, Richie. Yeah.
He just convinced himself.
Yeah. No, because I didn't realize
sometimes you got to talk it through.
I didn't realize that as a biopic, so that was a good call.
Yeah.
You didn't know it was a biopic? Really?
No, I didn't write it down.
Oh, I thought you meant like you didn't know it was based on a real person. Like what?
No.
That really happened.
I mean,
sometimes things can be unpredictable based on reactions. I mean, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've just recently done a Netflix documentary about this person as well. But anyway, Tony, you're up. What's the next movie you're going to bring up?
All right. So, at this point, since there's only 3 spots left, I'm going to throw one out there that's not really talked about a lot. Frankly, I'm expecting this not to be chosen, but I'm going to throw it out there because why the fuck not? Searching for Bobby Fischer.
Ooh.
Just because it's not very often you get a biopic based on the life of a kid, and you get the story of an actual kid, telling the story of Josh Watkins as a chess prodigy, trying to live up, essentially trying to be the next Bobby Fischer, and his chess teacher played by Ben Kingsley. You got his parents by Joan Allen and Joe Montana, and then he gets another chess mentor in Lawrence Fishburne playing in Central Park. I think it's not one that gets talked about a lot, and like I said, unique. I mean, how many kids at that age have had a life worthy of a biopic? So, like I said, I like throwing an oddball out there from time to time. Let's see what you think.
Chad, what do you say about Searching for Bobby Fischer?
Okay, so there are only 45 reviews for this thing critically, but it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes technically. I haven't seen this movie all the way through. This came out in '93. This is one that, as like a kid, I'd always seen come on TV, and I'd seen probably like the first 30 minutes of it or so while falling asleep a lot of the times. That's not a criticism of the movie. I was a kid.
Really
but
helping
it's
me
just
out
like-
here, Chad.
It's just like a movie that came on the television that I would watch, and like as I'm like falling asleep, and but it's interesting.
Like, yeah, it's a great
Not
movie to
going
watch
well.
during a fucking colonoscopy. Jesus.
I really
Put that on a
enjoy
blurb.
these types of films though, and I think you're right about the kid thing, and I really do want to actually try to watch this movie in its entirety because I feel like it's probably a really great movie. But I have to abstain.
Alex, what do you say about Searching for Bobby Fischer?
The director of this movie, Steve Zalian, he's actually one of my favorite script writers. Guys, did you guys know he's the scriptwriter behind? He's a screenwriter behind The Irishman. He's a screenwriter behind Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Moneyball, American Gangster,
Lord.
heck, Mission
Schindler's
Impossible. Schindler's List. Hell, but he's more prolific as a screenwriter than anything. He's obviously worked with some amazing people. I think there's so many pros to this movie. I think the script obviously shines. It somehow takes a very boring sport, a very boring activity, and even if you don't care about it, somehow they make you care, which I think can be very, very difficult to do, especially when it's something like watching chess, like watching a chess match, and you're like, this is like, who the fuck cares? I'm like, what? How intense can this be? But I would have to say no personally, because I think the script is on point. I don't think it shines though with any particular performances overall, and it's not a movie I'm excited to, or I feel a need to rewatch. I feel like after watching it the once, actually I watched it a few times, but I feel like I got everything that I could from watching it the one time, if that makes sense. So in that case, I'm going to give it a no personally.
Yeah, I mean, we joked earlier about Leo popping up in a lot of biopics. Both Ben Kingsley and Lawrence Fishburne have also popped up in a few biopics as well.
Yeah.
But that being said, I haven't seen this movie, and I actually had to look it up to find out about it. And it was actually released in the UK, and I think by proxy we got it there as Innocent Moves, but I still haven't seen it. Jonathan, what do you say about the movie?
Searching for Bobby Fischer. Okay. This is a very good movie. I'm gonna vote no, but it is a very good movie that people should watch because it's definitely one of the more under the radar biopics about a boring sport, like Alex put it. The way Zalian handles the characters and the sport itself, it is kind of riveting in parts, especially the final chess match. Like you could feel that tension in the room while you watch these two chess aficionados play against one another, and it has a tender ending for sure. So, but even though I vote no, I do recommend it, strongly.
Also, it's a perfect double feature to Little Man's Hate for future reference, y'all. Just saying.
Oh yeah, it is.
Just
and
putting that out there about child prodigies. Good.
Yeah.
and Richie, what you have said about Searching for Bobby Fischer?
I confuse this movie a lot with that movie Pawn Sacrifice, which I think kind of came out at the same time.
Oh, I love Pawn Sacrifice.
But it came out at the same time. I've seen that one. I haven't seen this one, so I got to say.
Pawn Sacrifice was going to come out in the 90s.
2014.
2014.
Yeah, Bobby Fischer was come out in the 90s.
93. Yeah, it
93.
did. 93.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chad, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go similar to Tony. Like I know there's not that many spots left. This is probably my last nomination, but I have to go with my heart rather than something that I think will probably definitely make the list if it's something I'm not absolutely in love with. And I'm a big music guy. Kind of dealt my hand when I would like loving on Johnny Cash, but I'm gonna go with a music one, and it's a Beach Boys one. It's Love and Mercy. This movie, well, I'm also a huge Paul Dano fan, so I have to kind of go. It's like a double whammy for me here, where it's a movie that I saw recently and absolutely adored because of a lot of the themes in it. It also has John Cusack and Paul Giamatti in it, and it's just a performance from Paul Dano. How this guy does not have an Oscar yet, I don't know. But I hope he can get one. Maybe for the Riddler. We'll see. I don't know. That may be a stretch. But I'm really excited for that. But this movie really floored me because I didn't research a lot about Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys before, and I didn't know. I knew he was a genius, but I didn't know like just how much he had dealt with, like kind of like health, not health, but like mental illness issue. That's the word. He has a lot of similar things that I have, like misophonia, where sounds really get him. Like he's at a dinner scene and like everybody's like clinking on things, and he just can't handle it. And it's similar to something that I deal with. And other than that, it's just like it also kind of like makes him hear sounds like so rich, and that's why he's just such a musical genius. Not that I'm a musical genius; I can barely play anything, but I think he's just one of the towering figures in music, and I feel like Paul Dano played that. And then also you have this whole story thing where he was abused and betrayed by his manager, Paul Giamatti, and you can see the toxicity in this relationship. It kind of goes back to like Gaslight and all these movies that just like shows a really crazy like toxic relationship, and it's manager and artist, and I feel like that's not portrayed in film that much. And I just it's almost like he had to be saved, and you're happy how it ends. And and then the music in it, Pet Sounds is one of the greatest albums ever made, and they show that being recorded, and I love that movie. Sorry, Love and Mercy, love it.
Alex, what do you say about Love and Mercy?
I really enjoy this movie. I think this movie is a really solid movie. I don't think it's a great movie or it should be on the conversation of greatest biopics of all time. I always laugh because Beach Boys is about a group of men call the Beach Boys, but none of them know how to swim in real life. Or at least they did it until like 30, 40 years into adulthood, which is but yeah, I think it's solid. Like you mentioned, Giamatti and Paul Dano, they're fantastic performances, but I thought the direction was a little lackluster. I thought for a movie that could be so colorful and vibrant and fun, or maybe not fun, obviously, depending on what you really want to highlight, obviously, it didn't really do any of that for me. It felt very drab, surprisingly. So in that case, I'm going to vote no.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it. Jonathan, what do you say?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie that caught me off guard the year that came out. But to tell you the truth, I've only seen it the one time, and I don't remember much about the movie, so I'm gonna vote no.
Richie, what do you say about Love and Mercy?
I have to abstain. I haven't seen it, but yeah, much love to Paul Dano. I think he's one of the highlights of whatever he's in. Hopefully, eventually that will get acknowledged in way of an Oscar. But yeah, I haven't seen this movie, so yeah, I have to abstain.
And Tony, what would you have said?
I would have said that I have to abstain because I have not seen this movie.
I figured that was going to happen.
But I didn't realize Paul Giamatti was in it. I mean,
yeah,
he's awesome. And
check
so
it out.
Paul Dano,
It's great.
So, yeah,
Alex, what is it? What is it?
Everyone is trying to say you should do a Rankin Paul Dano edition.
Yes, I'm down.
Very underrated character actor. Just putting that out there. That'd be really cool. That'd be a very interesting list to put together. Okay, so my movie pick, again, we're just gonna go down very sentimental movies, risky movies, weird movies, and so I'm gonna go with What's Love Got to Do with It? What's love but a second-hand emotion? It's
we're gonna get flagged.
Copyright claim.
But What's the Love Got to Do with It? Angela Bassett playing the absolute tremendous icon Tina Turner and her rise into musical success, but also her development with her husband and initial music partner Ike Turner, and their divorce and their horrible, toxic, abusive, emotionally manipulative, physically abusive relationship. And so she ended up until she felt confident to coming in on her own and fighting for her rights to her name. It's such a really great story. It's a necessary story. It's one of those stories I feel like it's very necessary for every woman in their life to watch at least once, even if they don't like biopics, even if they don't like music movies or anything or movies all that much. I feel like it's a very important movie to watch as well. So that's why I say, what's love got to do with it?
I don't know what love has to do with anything. I just haven't seen this movie. This is one I was going to watch before this. Then I watched another one.
So good.
But because I was actually going to watch it this morning, but then I watched a different movie that I thought was a biopic that might have come up, but after watching it, I don't consider this a biopic myself. But Jonathan, what do you say about What's Love Got to Do with It?
What's love got? No, I don't want to sing it. I don't want to get flagged again. I'm gonna say yes. This is a very strong movie. This is a very dark and intimate portrait of a singer being trapped in a marriage and being controlled from both a marriage and a professional side of her career.
He had rights.
It is brutal to watch. During the torture scenes, even a couple rape scenes. It's just, but but the performances, I believed Angela Bassett as Tina Turner. Like, she was that good. She was fantastic. And Lawrence Fishburne equal to the task as Ike Turner.
Terrifying.
Yes. But they both deserved the nominations. They both got nominated in the Schindler's List year. Yeah, I'm going to go 100% yes on this one. What's love got to do with it?
Richie, what do you say about What's Love Got to Do with It?
I want to clarify. I do watch movies. Haven't watched this one though.
We believe you.
Yeah. You may say I'm a fan, but not. I watch this movie, so no.
If it helps you, Richie, it is on Disney Plus for us. So
Okay, cool.
What?
Yeah,
it's because of the whole star thing. It's on.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Not here.
It is a Disney movie in a way. I mean,
I wonder how much they edit out, considering.
I mean,
it probably won't edit it because of the Star Edition. It's a lot of the R18 stuff and that. So, you can actually with it when they brought it in, you can see Disney Plus to have a feature if you don't want kids to see any of that. You can actually set it to a kid's setting. Or
well, they don't. If you don't want your kids to see it, don't have your kids watch a horrible traumatic film. Like parents.
Yeah, it's rated R for a reason.
Like,
but
you know what? I want my kids to watch, but I don't want them to learn about the Holocaust yet. So.
But anyway, Tony, what do you say about What's Love Got to Do with It?
Well, I'd like to preface this by saying I don't watch movies. So I'm just going to abstain from this. I have literally watched 7 movies in my life, and it's all the ones that we talked about today. What's that?
I said you're remarkably good at trivia for someone who's movies, man.
Don't tell anyone.
Anyway, Chad, what do you say about What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yeah, this is also one that I've missed. 93. I mean, I'm trying to catch up with a lot of movies from the past that I've missed. And I just, it sounds depressing as hell, but it sounds like a great performance. So, Angela Bassett is a great actress. So, I'm definitely interested to go back and check this out. I do love me some music biopics. So, I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Even if you're it's like horribly traumatic and everything, like I mentioned. However, the actual music performances are absolutely amazing.
Hell yeah! Nice.
Angela Bassett, she also sings all the songs herself, and she's completely electric. Oh, it's amazing.
I don't know how people are going to go for this one, but I'm going to try and bring it up anyway. I'm going to go for Helen Mirren in The Queen. This is, her Helen Mirren performance in this is amazing. The story about this Queen is kind of showing what the Queen was up to, sort of in post death of Princess Diana, and that. I don't know how people are going to come to more to the fact that it's more of a specific period of someone's life, not a full biopic. But I just thought I'd bring it up anyway because this is a great movie. Once again, Michael Sheen is in this as Tony Blair, I know there's a play that they've done in which Helen Mirren reprises her role as the Queen in that play as well. But Jonathan, what do you say about The Queen?
It's a good movie. It's a good movie with a great performance from Helen Mirren. Michael Sheen's in it, James Cromwell. Basically the events surrounding her life, including the Princess Diana's death. It's a good movie by director Stephen Frears, but I'm gonna go no. I've only seen it one time since it came out, and since I rented it. So, no.
Richie, what do you say about the Queen?
Well, earlier when I nominated Monster, I said I was tossing up between two female performances. The other one was this one. Yeah, I think this movie's great. Also, like they yeah, it's easy with someone like who's a huge figure like the Queen to just sort of kind of make her out to you as a sort of great perfect person, but they do humanize her a lot, and I like that. And Michael Sheen is fantastic as Tony Blair. Yes, so I'd say yes.
Tony, what do you say about the Queen?
Not much. It's not one of the 8 movies I've seen, so I'm gonna.
Chad, what do you say about the Queen?
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys are just hitting like straight in a row movies that I just haven't seen yet either. But I'll get there. I'll watch The Queen at one point.
Alex, what do you say about the Queen?
I like it. I don't love it. It's not one of my favorite reiterations of the Queen, of Queen Elizabeth, obviously. But yeah, it covers such an interesting time during the English monarchy. Obviously, it was like one of the first times in recent history that she really got a lot of flack for her reaction, or lack of. You can argue lack of reaction, essentially. So. But I would have to say no. I think it's a fine film. It's a solid film, but I don't think it's a great film, and I don't think it should be in the conversation of best biopics of all time.
But yeah, I mean, I hope they got Helen Mirren in a cameo in Spencer, but I don't think they did. But anyway, Jonathan, we go back to you.
Yeah. Well, before I make my next pick, yeah, she's not in Spencer. Sorry to say that. Very good movie.
Spoiler! Come on.
Spoiler,
right?
Yeah. I'm watching now.
Now I don't have to see that movie. Thank you.
But Kristen Stewart's the real deal.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh,
so I'm actually surprised this has not been nominated yet, because if we're talking biopics, one of the great biopics. I mean, I guess I have to do this. I mean, I'm going to nominate Raging Bull. Raging Bull. If we're talking about transformative, like Charlize Theron's performance in Monster, we have to talk De Niro's performance as Jake LaMotta. It is not the happiest biopic in the world, and Scorsese chose to direct it in black and white for a reason. I mean, you could see the haunting figure of Jake LaMotta being in blood and sweat and tears in front of the screen. I mean, it is pulverizing. You could feel the punches when you watch it, like slow-mo or fast-paced. It is a tough movie to watch, but it is tough for a reason. You don't have to like Jake LaMotta. You just have to understand what he's going through. Yeah, he's not a perfect man all around for sure, because he's definitely abusive towards his first wife and his second wife, and also his brother, Joe Pesci, and also the wife played by Kathy Moriarty. Yeah, this is, I think, Scorsese's magnus opus, even though I declare Goodfellas is my favorite Scorsese, but I think this is his best movie from a technical standpoint and also from a narrative standpoint. So I'm going to nominate Raging Bull.
Richie, what do you say about Raging Bull?
Yeah, I really do like this movie. It's not one of my favorite Scorsese movies or anything like that, but it's really great. Robert De Niro has a really great performance. But yeah, and it is definitely a tough watch. But yeah, look, I like it's a kind of, I'd say yes.
Tony, what do you say about Raging Bull?
Okay, I've seen this one. It's a yes. De Niro, if it's not his best performance, it's at least top 3.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci's great.
Mm-hmm.
It really, I mean, like you said, John, this is you're not supposed to like Jake LaMotta. You're not supposed to root for him, and just you see the self-destructive tendencies that just pretty much destroyed his life.
Yeah.
And it's a yes for me.
Yeah, the personal inner demons basically destroy his life. You know, you see him punching the wall when he's in prison.
Chad, what do you say about Raging Bull?
Yeah, I think Raging Bull is definitely a great movie. I really, really enjoyed it when I watched it. But with how the list is constructed now, we have 2 Spielberg, we have 2 Scorsese. I don't want to put another Scorsese on the list. Like I kind of wish maybe we could have swapped Raging Bull out for another one. I don't know. I just don't want to say yes to it because of that. And I don't know. I feel like that's kind of dumb because he made a great movie. It's a great biopic, but I'm like, other people made great biopics too. So, I love the choice, Jonathan. I just want to kind of maybe get a little more representation on here.
That's fair.
So no.
Fair enough.
Alex, what do you say about Raging Bull?
I agree with you 100,000,000%, Chad. This movie is like really, really great. I think it's overall like really solid. I feel like it's a very important movie for cinephiles to watch. Obviously, it's. I don't think it's important for people in general to watch, but cinephiles, I do think it's important. But yeah, I just can't get over every time I watch this. I'm like, yeah, he's a creepy pedo. Not into this. I don't like watching it. He's into like a 14, 15-year-old. I can't do this. I can't do it. And it's just hard. Yeah. I mean, like, even like that stuff I'm saying. Oh. But sorry, my husband, he brought me something that's been in the oven for a while, and he's like, this is really good, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's very proud. It's a very delicious meal.
Food.
Yeah, so but it's I think it's a really great film. I don't like watching it, obviously, but I'm gonna say no. We definitely need a lot more variety on this list, considering how many spots we have left.
3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna make the list. I haven't seen it.
Oh boy, commentary was shocking.
I mean, I promise everyone I do watch movies.
Yeah.
You just watch movie 43
Richie,
10 times a day.
He does. He does watch that one. And he wins
was
debate.
No one will ever let you live that down, Malcolm. It's just going to haunt you for the rest of your day until
I know.
you meet your deadline.
I'm tempted to just log movie 43 10 times just to prove I should read.
Hey, you know what? I'll have your comfort movies, Malcolm. I totally get it. I got my comfort movies, so.
So I'm sort of torn between two movies. I'm torn between 2 movies by the same director, but ultimately I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with probably his breakthrough performance, one of the greatest actors of a generation that we lost too soon. That's Philip Seymour Hoffman in Capote. I think this movie is fantastic. I think this movie is fantastic. I think it's like Charlize Theron's transformative performance. I absolutely. Bennett Miller does a great job here. It's just a great movie. I am surprised that it had been brought up earlier, actually. So I'm glad I got to talk about it. But that's Capote.
Tony, what do you say about Capote?
Philip Seymour Hoffman is incredible in everything he does. I did not really care for this movie all that much. It just didn't click with me. I found it hard to like be engaged with, so I'm gonna say no on this one. But
Chad, what do you say about Capote?
Yeah, I'm actually very, very interested in this topic. I saw this actually after reading one of the behemoth, basically, of like true crime novels in cold blood, written by Truman Capote, and it's a very chilling book. It's a very chilling movie, and he basically kind of pulled Jim Carrey there and like kind of became. I mean, I don't think he did method, but he became Truman Capote. He was that guy, and I feel like the movie was just I really really enjoyed the movie. It was a while ago that I saw it, but I remember it being like really an interesting take on like his life and like him like writing that book and yeah I really yes. In other words, yes.
Alex, what do you say about Capote?
I'm gonna have to go with no personally. I think Capote's a great film. Philip Seymour Hoffman can't be beat. However, I do think Toby Jones actually does hedge him out a little bit. I think he actually does a better performance as Truman Capote, in particular in the movie Infamous. I do think Infamous is actually a lesser film, but I think his individual performance is actually superior personally. That came in, like actually was released like a year or two within Capote, but I would have to say no.
I haven't seen it. John, what do you say about Capote?
Heartbreaking.
It's fine. It's a fine movie with a great performance from Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, he couldn't do no wrong. I'm gonna go no. It's just fine.
Tony, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I think next one I am going to bring up is Gandhi, directed by Richard Attenborough. Ben Kingsley just knocks it out of the park. Just the story of Mahatma Gandhi from the time he was a lawyer in South Africa all the way through the Indian Revolution up until his death in 1948, I believe. It's a great movie, just anchored by Ben Kingsley's incredible performance. And yeah, I'll leave it to you guys.
Chad, what do you say about Gandhi?
Definitely gonna have to abstain. This is one I haven't seen. This is one I know I need to see. But I've heard his performance is fantastic. So yeah, I definitely want to check this one out at some point, and I will. But yeah, abstain.
Alex, what do you say about Gandhi?
I'm gonna say no. I don't think it's a really accurate. I don't think it's a good biopic. I think it's a good performance, but I do think they try to idolize him in a very on the verge of being propagandish way, to be honest. And I have to say no, but he does do like a really great performance overall. So,
this is one. I actually have seen this. I saw it for the first time, and I don't know what the big there's a lot of people that really like making biopics and try to cram everything in. But this is another 3-hour biopic. I mean, I'm gonna say yes because I didn't hate it. I mean, I don't know much about Gandhi to know about like the actual sort of what he really was like, but I've just remembered that I really did like this movie, so I'm going to say yes. Jonathan, what do you say about Gandhi?
This is the first time I'm going to say today I have to abstain because I have not seen this movie.
What?
So yeah, it is kind of a shocker. It is on my
Why don't
watch
you
list.
watch movies, John?
Right? I
Seriously.
said yes and no to movies, but I have not seen Gandhi. But no, yeah, that is surprising that I haven't seen it yet, but I will. So unfortunately, I have to abstain.
Richie, what do you say about Gandhi?
So, like, just to clarify, if I abstain, does this make the list?
It doesn't. I've obviously seen anyone that suggests to it anyway, so I don't think it makes it.
Okay, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. So
You were gonna lie?
no. I wanted to know whether it would make the list because
Yoink.
yeah, otherwise
We've been here 2 hours. I'll say yes to whatever now.
It's gonna turn into a biopic right now. I mean, right here.
we haven't had a.
gonna be
Oh yes, this
sprawling.
is Monster. That was contingent.
But anyway, Chad didn't think it was going to get back to him, but it has gone back.
I did
to
not.
Him. Chad was-
Yeah, no, I didn't. And actually, you know what? Now I know exactly what needs to be nominated here. I don't know if it'll make it. I think this is a fantastic movie. I love it every time I see it. And I think the performances are great. And like, I think, and we don't have any sports biopics, right? Yeah, we don't have any sports biopics on here. And right. And when people were talking about, you know, we already mentioned Jonah Hill's best performance. I'm like, no, we haven't. It's in Moneyball, in my
His
opinion.
best performance, but
And,
he's a showstopper. Seems
Sure, he is. Yeah, and but yeah, no, that was just me joking around. But I love Jonah Hill and Brad Pitt in this movie, and you know, it's just like, I mean, I love baseball. I'm a big Red Sox fan. But yeah, watching this about the Athletics and just like what they all went through with that, and just like this, like, you know, rated like players that they would have to analyze, and it's just like such a really interesting way to you know, I think what was the guy that wrote the original novel, Michael Lewis. Yeah, it's just like such an interesting story. But it also, you know, because it's like a different way of looking at it, and it feels like it changed everything about baseball and how people look at, you know, valuing players and stuff like that. It's just such an interesting story. And then also you have the whole, you know, biopic part about, you know, it's actually like a, you know, character study of, you know, Billy Beane, and just like what it's like to put everything into like one choice that just affects the rest of your life, and you're just always wondering like what if, and like it's one of those sad things where he had so much promise, didn't pan out, and it's just such a sad, like, tragic thing for him. Yeah, I mean, he became a general manager and stuff like that, but like that's not what he wanted to do. And it's just like he kind of has that like sadness, you know, throughout the whole movie, and you know, but also the drive to do well for this team. And even when he's offered, you know, the offer from the Red Sox, he turns it down, and you know, because he wants to be with his family. I just think it's such a sweet movie, such a great story. So Moneyball.
Alex, what do you say about Moneyball?
It's a perfect, from what I know, it is a perfect two sides of the same coin kind of approach to the same story, with a double feature to go with Trouble with the Curve with Clint Eastwood, which is actually versus Moneyball is like the point of view of like the stats and everything versus the point of view of like the personality and everything with like the older generations with Clint Eastwood. Anyway, I've not seen it, so I'm saying.
But yeah, I actually have seen Moneyball. I like it. It's good. And yeah, I don't. I'm gonna say yes. John.
You just want the episode end.
Yeah. I actually saw this recently, probably a month ago, and from like ever since I watched it in 2011, it is a much better movie than I thought. upon rewatch, it is a better business movie than it is a sports movie. I think from a business analytical
Yes,
standpoint,
agree.
it is
Mhm.
excellent. The way they talk about these like analytics trades and all that stuff. I mean, there's a scene with correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot. I think it was with the he goes somewhere to talk about players that he wants. Forgot
Probably
what.
the Indians, Cleveland
Yes,
Indians.
yes,
Yeah.
Cleveland Indians. Yes, about that and the way they banter it in that brief scene, it's really well done. Yeah, the two great performances, including Philip Seymour Hoffman as the
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah, the
Another great
manager, yeah.
performance from him. He really
Chris
does
Pratt.
personifies
Pratt.
the coach. Yeah,
Who will be playing Richie later at some point.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah,
There's
he
a natural
personifies
progression.
the coach
Mario
really
and
well.
Garfield.
You know what? I like this pick. I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, yes on Moneyball.
Richie, what do you say about
Yeah.
Moneyball?
Also, not only Philip Seymour Hoffman, but Bennett Miller. Well, coming around
Directed by
again.
Bennett Miller.
Same director as Capote. Yeah,
Mhm.
so yeah, weird. I might be showing my hand here, but not the other Bennett Miller movie I was thinking of. But I do like this movie. I really do like this movie. I'm not a sports guy. It was really interesting, and it got me. Yeah, I think it's really written very well. Right. Well, yeah, I'll say yes. Fine, whatever.
It makes the list. Tony, what would you have said about Moneyball?
I would have said yes. I love baseball. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, and one of my favorite
Nice.
players was David Justice. So him having getting a little time with the A's on that 2002 team, I mean that's enough for me. So.
And
Alex, what
congrats,
was your
by the
next
way.
nomination?
Fucking right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so
Oh boy.
we've talked about politicians, we've talked about war films. I really want to center on a movie centering around the world of entertainment. And yes, and so I'm going to go with a very unconventional pick, and I'm going to go with one of my recent favorites, and that would have to be Ed Wood, directed by Tim Burton. I don't know if it's crazy accurate. I don't know, but I watched this movie. It's made with such love. I think the acting performances are so fantastic, really highlighting the world of entertainment where creators are going through such extreme lengths to just create because it's what they love, and it's about making art for art's sake, in spite of it being crazy difficult and everything, and making little to no money. Throughout their entire career, but it's also focuses on a niche part of the film industry that I think has such a weird, fun history overall that I would love to see highlighted more in film overall. But really great performances across the board as well. There was, I believe, a nomination, like an Oscar nomination for what's the place that plays
Martin Landau.
Yeah, that plays Bela Lugosi.
Lugosi.
Mhm.
believe he won.
And oh gosh, his performance.
He's
It
excellent.
eats away at you, but it's fantastic. It's also underrated overall, not only as a biopic, but I think it's underrated as a 90s film. So I would love to see it on the list, but again, I doubt it's gonna get on this list.
But yeah, this is another movie you can find on Disney Plus in Australia and New Zealand.
It's great.
And I watched it for the first time just a couple of days ago. This is a good movie. I don't know why it's one of those. I don't know why I never sort of got around to seeing it until the other day. But I like this movie. This is definitely a yes. Jonathan, what do you say about Ed Wood?
I am not a fan of Tim Burton.
Me
Tim
either.
Burton's movies, especially his recent ones. My personal favorite is Edward Scissorhands.
Nice.
But my second favorite is Ed Wood. So I adore this movie. This is a wonderful biopic about a man who's just wants to make a movie, no matter how crappy it is or it's going to be. I mean, it's just the passion. You see the passion in his eyes, and Depp's fantastic performance. Yes, people comment that Samuel L. Jackson should have won for Pulp Fiction back in '94, but if you really concentrate on Landau's performance as Bela Lugosi, it's outstanding. So, and I guess in my opinion, Landau deserved it for sure. Yeah, this was actually going to be my next nomination because we don't have a movie about making movies on this list. So yeah, let's put Ed Wood on this list.
Richie, what do you say about Ed Wood?
This is one of those probably the biggest movies on my blind, on my blind spot. My friend gushes about this movie all the time. I haven't got around to it. I'm a Tim Burton guy, more previous stuff than recent, but so I probably like it. And it's got George the Animal Steel in the cameo, so I probably like it. But yeah, I have to say that, so I can't. I got to abstain.
Tony, what do you say about Ed Wood?
I actually also have to abstain. This is one that I hear good things about. It's just I'm not a big Tim Burton guy outside of like Beetlejuice.
I do want to clarify. I don't like Tim Burton myself, but I love Ed Wood. Like I play like 95% of his films. I outright hate. Alice in Wonderland, but it's arguably one of his most grounded movies. So sorry.
So, but yes, I do have
that
to
being
abstain.
said, but that being said, it's all on Chad. Chad, what do you say about Ed Wood?
I mean, I'm gonna say yes to Ed Wood. Come on now. I actually really love Tim Burton. I mean, later in his career, he started not to go downhill, but like early on, he had like one of the most unique styles.
Yes.
And it's just like he brings that to Ed Wood. It's a very weird movie, even though it's kind of also conventional for a Tim Burton film, but like there's a lot to love about it. It's one of those movies kind of like The Disaster Artist, where it's like, it's like this guy made a bunch of like bad films, but like this is kind of his story about his persistence about trying to get these things made, and his relationship with you guys kept saying it, Bela Lugosi. And I keep doing this. But it's a really fun, weird film. I'm a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, and Drusilla's in it, so that's a definite. And her dad won the Oscar, so. But yeah, I adore the movie, and I'm glad you brought it up because it should have been brought up. Yeah.
But with that, we've got one spot left.
One more.
And it's all on.
It's going to be hard to.
Okay. Let's just say, let's pick the next movie that we've all seen, okay?
All right.
Guys, 50-50, coming in hot. Come on, y'all. And I love that movie.
All right, Patch Adams. All right.
Anyway,
great faithful biopic.
I mean, honestly, I should have brought this one up early because this is a bit of a risk. I was looking at this list. We've got a lot of Americans on this list. I'm going to try for a Kiwi. I'm going to go for the world's fastest Indian.
Yikes.
Is that what the movie's called?
Yes.
The movie is
I know what it's about.
All right.
I know what it is.
But you've got Anthony Hopkins playing Burt Momo, who his whole dream was to go to the States and win the land speed trial on his bike, which is an Indian bike. So that's where the title comes from. But yeah, this is a great movie. Like there's not a like it's one of those ones like when it comes to like famous Kiwis, like Burt Munro is definitely not one of them that most people know. It's usually either Stu Hillary or people like that. I don't know how many people have seen this. But this is a great movie. If you haven't, you should watch it. Jonathan, what do you say about The World's Fastest Indian?
I've seen it a long time ago. One time, it's good, but it's not enough to warrant a spot in the top 12 biopics. So I'm gonna go no.
Bitchy, what do you say about The World's Fastest Indian?
Yeah, I mean, this is a sweet kind of movie. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins, as always, it was a great performance. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. Like if you brought it up earlier, like it's one spot left, and I can't justify it being well past Indian. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Tony, what do you say about The World's Fastest Indian?
I have not seen this one, so I'm gonna have to say no. When you said Kiwi movie, I was thinking of something very different. So,
oh God,
Chad, what do you say about The World's Fastest Indian?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've already showed my cards on this one. I do have to abstain. I definitely respect the choice because, I think we should have more like, what I consider to be foreign films or international films on the list. If it hasn't been directed by Taika Waititi, sadly, I haven't seen many New Zealand films, but I won't change that. So thank you for keeping recommending them to me.
I do have a list on Letterboxd with a whole bunch of New Zealand movies for people to check out. Alex, what do you say about The World's Fastest Indian?
I would have to say no. It's been a long time since I've seen it, to be honest. Last time I saw it, I was like in high school, I want to say. I remember thinking it's a very family-oriented, solid, uplifting film. Anthony Hopkins, he's a delight. But I was like, it's fine. It does its job. But it doesn't. I didn't even know it was a biopic. I forgot it was a biopic, to be honest. So, but yeah, that's fine. But I would say no.
Yeah, kind of think that was going to happen, but Jonathan, it's on you.
Oh boy, you know what? I didn't think it was gonna come back to me. To be honest. Okay. Let's see. There's one I loved, but I don't know if many people have seen it. So I'm not gonna go with that one. Okay. I think that I'm gonna take the risk on this one. I'm gonna nominate All the President's Men. Now, as I was thinking about it while we were having discussion about, certain people from biopics, I don't think we need to know personally about Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. We kind of figure out based on their professional background that they're like hardcore investigative journalists going after the Watergate scandals. It is a masterfully directed movie by director Alan J. Bakula with two fantastic performances from Redford and Dustin Hoffman, Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. And also Jason Robards is fantastic as their boss. I think this is a perfectly paced, focused, and straightforward film about about people doing their job really well, doing investigative journalism quite well. Nowadays it's really just about chasing the story first, and whether or not it's factual or inaccurate. And I think back then they really chase the truth behind a story, especially behind the Watergate scandals. So, right. And, I'll nominate All the President's Men.
Richie, what do you say about All the President's Men?
Start me if you've heard this before. Haven't seen it.
Tony.
I have seen it. All the President's Men is a great movie. It doesn't stand out to me in terms as a biopic, though. I mean, it doesn't. It's not something when I think biopic. That's not one I think of, kind of thing. It is a great movie with great performances, but I will be saying no on this one.
Chad, what do you say about All the President's Men?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to abstain from this one. Just like Richie, I haven't seen it. I've heard it's a baller film, nominated for Best Picture. I will get around to watching it. Sadly, I haven't seen it today.
Alex, what do you say about All the President's Men?
I got nothing to say about it because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point we
Understand.
reduced to. I mean, at this point we'd be reduced to nominating Gotti. Because I haven't seen.
Oh my god!
No, I think there are two movies.
The Movie Pass film.
There are two movies up there. I think that people will be shocked
That's coming
that have
back.
been nominated.
But Richie, we're back to you.
Man, all right. Okay.
Body.
No. Look. All right. I think we've got. I think we need more sort of. I don't know if we've got as many. We've tried to get some like music ones on here. This was. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring up Straight Outta Compton. I think this movie is surprisingly very just surprisingly quite it's quite great. I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did. I think and Ice Cube's son O'Shea Jackson Jr. is phenomenal in this. Yeah, just about like the rising WA and how they kind of started a sort of music sort of revolution and a social revolution against the police, and yeah, it's just very well done by F. Gary Gray. And at this point, I don't know if it's going to make the list, but I'll put it out there. Straight Outta Compton.
Tony, what do you say about Straight Outta Compton?
I think this is a excellent film. It may seem like a lame reason, but I am going to say no. The reason I am saying no is because Dr. Dre and Ice Cube were producers on the film and had a lot of say creatively. And there were some things definitely omitted to kind of for the sake of their images, we'll say. So it's one of those things where it's just like it is an excellent movie, I think, but based on that alone, where it's like when you have the people that it's about involved, it's like they get to take creative license with what they want and don't want told in their story. It just kind of leaves you a little on it. So, but like I said, it is an excellent movie as a film. So no.
Yes, I mean it's going to be interesting to see what this Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne biopic is going to look like, because you got Sharon on as a producer. So,
Okay.
But Chad, what do you say about Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah, I mean, I actually really, really agree with everything Tony just said about, when the real people have, creative license to go in there and affect the film. The thing about it, though, where I don't really have a problem with it in the Straight Outta Compton case is because it is a really great movie. Even if it's not 100% accurate, I haven't really done the research myself, so I don't really have a strong opinion on this one. I have a very strong opinion about like Bohemian Rhapsody, and I feel like that the Queen basically ruined that film. But Straight Outta Compton is a great movie. Like, you know, Tony even said it. You know, and I love the album Straight Outta Compton. It's a great rap album, highly influential. I just looked it up. It was Jason Mitchell as Eazy-E. You know, just that whole storyline with him, you know, dying and stuff, and it's just like it just floored me. You know, anytime like a movie can affect me that hard, like with, you know, the downfall of a sad death of a character, I'm like, oh my god. So that movie, yeah, I really loved it quite a bit. So I would say yes.
Alex, what do you say about Straight Outta Compton?
I've actually avoided watching this movie because of everything Tony said. I'm really not a huge fan of the subjects being involved in the movies. Anytime I hear about it, I always take it with a real heavy grain of salt. Like most recently, King Richard, where the Venus and Serena Williams were on as producers of the films, and they oversaw the script. I'm like, interesting. So I mean, I have to abstain because I haven't seen it. I do know a lot of the stuff they abstained from the movie is horrible shit. And regarding sexual assault and horrible abuse, the stuff that went to court and they were found guilty of. So I've abstained for that reason personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, like, I don't think you're ever going to find a biopic that's 100% accurate to what actually happened in real life. I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones, like, whenever the subjects are involved in producing or that, I am very aware of that myself. But that being said, I went into Straight Outta Compton not knowing much about NWA full stop. Like, all the stuff I know about them, I read after I've seen that movie. And I mean, I like it's a good movie. Like it may not be 100% accurate, but I'm sorry, Jonathan, I'm saying yes. So it's all on you.
I'll be right back.
Man.
Boy, I'm in a tough position here because of what Tony and Alex was referring to. Yes, I did read about like things were being negated out of these this material that was presented in the movie, especially in its extended cut. I've seen the extended cut. It is it's really well done. I prefer the original over the extended cut, but even though it is a fantastic musical biopic, there are a couple of better ones, and unfortunately, I prefer What's Love Got to Do with It over that one. Oh boy. Let's see, do I accept it or do I want to hear Tony's next pick?
God help you if you hear my next pick.
Right.
I know my next pick. I'm like super psyched about my next pick.
Okay. Oh boy. I'm gonna go a slight no. I think it's a really strong movie, but it is a rewatchable movie as well. But man, some of the subjects, some of the topics that were denied during the making of this movie really rethinks that really changes your perspective on the some of the issues dealt with the movie. So
and
no,
that's fair. I didn't realize how heavily
it was an honorable mention, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't realize how heavily involved Ice Cube and Dr. Dre were. So yeah, but anyway, that's fair.
But that being said, move over to Tony.
All right. Shit. Where are we at here? I'm going to submit the best Don Cheadle performance he has done, and that is in Hotel Rwanda.
Ooh.
That is the moving story about the Rwandan genocide and him as the hotel manager using his hotel as a sanctuary, as I know it's the Hutu and the Tutsis. It's been a while. I can't remember.
Yeah, those were it.
Let's see. As the Hutu militia kind of was chasing out the Tutsis. Like I said, Don Cheadle gives the performance of his career when he breaks down after seeing the fields of victims that he comes across. It's very moving. But yeah, Hotel Rwanda.
So just to cut down on people saying they haven't seen it, how many people, who has seen this?
And well, Richie's gone, so.
But I mean, that being said, I'll get Chad. What do you think about the movie? I'll go back to Richie when he comes back.
I have technically seen this movie because of high school, but I haven't really seriously sat down and watched it in a long time. But I also, I just don't know if I want to include like another really hard to watch genocide movie. Because like sometimes there are fun biopic movies to include, and we already have the really strong Schindler's List. And also, personally, I just really don't like Don Cheadle for MCU reasons. So I'm not a fan of Don Cheadle. I think he's kind of a bad actor.
Someone's picking Terrence Howard's side in that battle. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
There's gonna be a conversation after we stop recording.
Jonathan, what do you think about Hotel Rwanda?
To make things short, I'm gonna vote no. It is a very good movie, but it is a heavy watch for sure. It's a tough watch, but yeah, three incredible performances by Cheadle, Sophie Okonedo, and Nick Nolte. Actually, Nick Nolte gives a really good performance. I'm gonna vote no, but I do recommend it.
Yeah. Rishi, you weren't here when I asked the question, but have you seen Hotel Rwanda?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have, and it's I do take Chad's point though. It is this is very sort of the biopics you got are very kind of very heavy kind of stuff. Like it's one movie. I really like the movie. I like the performance. But yeah, it's one movie. I don't know if I'm going to rush out to watch again just because it's great, but it's just really hard to watch. But I respect the nomination, but I'm going to say no.
It might be a good idea for another ranking movies you can only watch. Movies you only really want to watch one. But Chad, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, I never expected this to get back to me, so this is insane. Okay, so, well, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I want to kind of end this soon too, but like, I really am still going to go with my heart, and it might be another. Either I haven't seen it, or I don't know. It probably will be that one. But another one of my loves, in addition to Paul Dano, is Jake Gyllenhaal. And so I have to go with another movie that I really love is October Sky. And I think this movie is probably a lot underseen. And I think a lot of people should revisit it because it's fantastic. Like, I saw it when I was a kid, and then I rewatched it again recently, and I just love everything about this movie. Laura Dern, Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Cooper. I just think these people just really made like a great film there. Because he's a kid in school. He wants to he wants to do science. He wants to build rockets, but his whole town is expecting him to fall in line with the same thing that everybody does and work in the coal mines. And his dad is a really hard man, and I feel like so many with toxic masculinity and stuff, like people grow up where they're like, no, you can't pursue your dream of science and art and all this stuff because you got to go do the manly thing and support your family and all this stuff. And I feel like, this is a really good, statement about following your dreams. And, sometimes when you do that, you can do great things. And, I think it's a really good message. It's a really well-made movie. So many great performances in there, especially like Chris Cooper. Oh my God. So, okay. October Sky.
I'll continue the same thing I did last time. Who has seen October Sky?
Ooh.
Unexpected.
Alex.
Alex, what do you think about October Sky?
It's a hard yes for me personally. It's not so much about it being a good movie or a great movie, but this movie is incredibly sentimental to me. I watched it a lot growing up. It was like one of the movies that my dad would quote, be like, Alex. He'd say like he would randomly say a quote to me, and he'd be like, "What movie?" And he's like, "Alex, tell me the scene."
It's like my cousin Vinny with
and
my
he
dad.
would literally do that shit to me. There would be like 5-10 movies where he did that stuff to me, and one of them was October Sky. But I do think it's a really underrated film. I think it's a lovely film. I don't know about being one of the greatest biopics of all time, but I'm gonna say yes just because I love that movie so much.
Jonathan, what do you think about October Sky?
A movie about the passion of making rockets, rocket exploration. No, this is a really good movie. Yeah, when we're talking about Gyllenhaal performances, we talk about Donnie Darko, Nightcrawler.
Love it.
Yeah. Brokeback Mountain.
Love it.
But not this one. And I think this is one of his underrated performances. I did watch it at a young age, and also I watched it during school. At school. And I was mesmerized by this story. And it's a wonderfully told story with a great passion about making rockets and just going the distance, in science. And it's a really touching true story about chasing your dreams, and even in the STEM field. You know what? I like this pick. This is a good movie. I'm gonna go yes on this one. Yeah.
I can't remember, Tony, which do you guys say you've seen it?
I've seen it.
I have.
Yeah. Richie, what do you think about October Sky?
I haven't. It was Tony that's seen it.
Oh, so you cut out. I heard the I have. Tony, what do you think about October Sky?
I was a freshman in high school when this came out, and this became the math or science teacher is sick, so when we watch a movie in class, this is the movie we watched. So, but I think it's a god awful. But no. I think it's a great movie. I think it is a very underrated movie, and I don't think it's a movie that gets a lot of love, especially anything that can get kids more into the math and science fields. Probably not a bad thing. So we got number 12.
Yay.
Wow. Unexpected.
Did it.
That was 12.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Yeah, October Sky.
That's how long it takes to rank these. Jeez.
Wait, we're ranking shit now?
It shouldn't take another hour to rank.
We'll see.
Look, we made a biopic right now. I mean, biopics are like 10 to run almost 3 hours, right?
My heart soars for the love for October Sky, by the way.
I just want y'all to know my next pick was actually Patton.
I haven't
No
seen it.
Not a bad
No
pick.
one?
I
Unfortunately.
haven't seen it. So.
Patton?
No, that I would have
I've-
said
I've-
yes.
I've-
I've actually
So
seen
good.
it.
It's so good. It's fantastic. Guys, check it out.
I need to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But with that being said, before we get into the actual ranking,
Oh.
Alex, what give me 3 or 4 honorable mentions you had on your list.
Oh, honorable mentions. Patton, Sid and Nancy, and The Doors. Those
Yeah,
are, again, I know they're risky
The Doors,
picks. These are just personal. They're personal favorites.
yeah. Like for me, like I had The Iron Lady, Amadeus, and one and
Amadeus
And
is a
one-
biopic.
That was a risky one for me. Yeah.
and one that I'm not too sure how it would have gone because technically it's a fictionalized biopic, but it's one of the many animated ones, and it was The Wind Rises, which is a Ghibli movie, which is a loose biopic. I don't know how that would have gone, so I didn't bring it up earlier. But Jonathan, what is about 3 honorable mentions that you had?
So one big one was 12 Years a Slave. I think that's a heartbreaking story about an innocent person, being a slave for 12 years. Great performances. Cinderella Man. I think that's a great biopic about a boxer who's providing for his family. I'll go 2 more. The Insider. I think that's a great biopic, and I'll go Bernie. Bernie.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
underrated. I love
Yeah, that's
I
an
like that.
underrated movie from Richard Linklater.
Richard Linklater. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was a biopic.
Yes, it is.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Richie, what about 3 honorable mentions that you would have brought up?
All right. I'll just pick 3 at random. Well, the other Bennett Miller movie I was going to mention is Foxcatcher. Steve Carell, great performance. Channing Tatum, one of those better performances. Yeah. And then, like, maybe in terms of underrated, The Runaways. Quite great movie. And The Hurricane. Denzel Washington.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah. So, and I'll give a shout out to Eddie the Eagle as well. That's more fun.
I like that one.
Tony, what about 3 honorable mentions that you would have brought up?
Let's see. Pride of the Yankees, about Lou Gehrig. That's a great older biopic. The Kiwi movie that I thought that you might mention, Heavenly Creatures.
Okay.
That's an excellent
Jackson.
movie. And I think it's a recent one. It probably wouldn't have made the list, but I really liked it. Was Fighting with My Family.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
going to bring that up.
Oh, that's right.
Most nominated.
Paige,
Oh,
About Paige,
yeah,
Paige.
that's a really good one.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Chad, what are 3
that's
honorable mentions that
That's a really good movie.
Yeah, I'm not even that big of a wrestling fan, and I still love Fighting. I think I just love Florence Pugh. So, but yeah, that was definitely an honorable mention. I also had Rush, 120
Oh yeah.
Hours. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Fruitvale Station, In the Name of the Father, Quiz Show, Amadeus, Honey Boy, Shattered Glass, Borg versus McEnroe, Battle of the Sexes, The End of the Tour, Zodiac, First Man, Black Klansman, Selma, The Imitation Game, Rocket Man, My Little Foot, Lincoln, and I also had some new ones: Tick Tick Boom, Belfast, and Spencer, are all fantastic.
I actually, before we do our list, the Rocket Man one. I was thinking about that because that's a really good movie, but I don't think it's quite a biopic than it is. It's more of a fantastical musical.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
I thought the exact same thing, Jonathan, because I don't consider it a biopic at all.
Yeah.
It's That like I also don't consider like Bohemian Rhapsody a biopic. Not really
Ugh.
considering that one, and I don't consider Amadeus a biopic either.
True.
But that being said, we're going to finally get around to ranking these. Jonathan, what do you have for 12?
Monster.
Tony, what do you have for 12?
Crap, I didn't write this down. Hold on.
You can
There
just
we
yell.
go. Monster.
Chad, what do you have for 12?
Yeah, I same thinking. Monster.
Alex,
Catch Me If You Can.
Ooh.
I had Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia.
What the
Whoa.
Richie, what do you have for 12? You can just say it.
Monster. Getting there. I'm coming. I had to get my pick.
I mean, Monster would have been there regardless,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay. All right, well.
This is really hard. There's a lot of great movies here.
I like all of them. Yeah.
But Richie, what do you have for 11?
I got Moneyball.
Tony,
It's probably not considered one.
I said Ed Wood.
Chad,
I actually said Walk the Line.
Alex.
Catch Me If You Can. I'm gonna keep it there.
I'm
Oh,
keeping Lawrence of
God.
Arabia.
I
Jonathan,
put October Sky.
Wow.
So we've got a 6-way tie. I don't know if it's going on in the chat, so but yeah, so we've got Lawrence of Arabia.
I'd ask the wife to jump in, but I think she'd disagree with me.
I can change
what-
mine.
I mean, if you want to change it, you can. I was just going to put them all on a reel and let fate decide.
Oh, I'll change mine. I'll change it to Lawrence of Arabia.
Whoa, no.
No, 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 no,
No,
Screw you.
No, guys, I'm changing
No.
it. I'm changing it. Walk the
No.
line. Walk the fucking line. Because how dare you? How fucking dare you? No.
This is
I will
offensive
not
me
use
putting Lawrence of
blaspheme.
Arabia.
But I changed mine to Lawrence of Arabia, so you're the only one doing Walk the Line right
Walk the line.
Walk the line. I'll go walk the line. Walk the line.
Walk the line. Walk the line. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
now. Get it, Malcolm. Don't.
Yeah, backfired, didn't it, Chad?
Bam!
I guess that I said should be 11. All right.
It was a ploy of his to get Walk the Line out. He's like,
Yes.
But anyway, move to 10. Tony, what do you have for number 10?
Ed Wood.
Chad.
I'll go Goodfellas.
Whoa.
Alex.
Damn.
Yikes, y'all. October Sky.
I'm sticking with Lawrence of Arabia. John.
October Sky. October Sky.
Richie.
Ed Wood.
Ooh.
Oh. So how's that gonna work?
If we want to
So
make
we've
it
got
nice, I'll change to Lawrence of Arabia. We can have a 2-2-2.
Oh, come
Oh god, this is heartbreaking, y'all. Heartbreaking.
Right, so I've got 2 for October Sky, 2 for Edward. Chad, you didn't do either of those. Edward or October Sky.
Okay. Oh, me? Oh, Ed
Yeah.
Wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't seen October Sky, so I can't judge it. So I'm going to go Edward as well.
Why do you like the desert? Because it's clean.
Is that a quote?
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, that was an easy one. There was at least some commonality. No, but Chad, what do you have for 9?
Yeah, I'll go with it. Lawrence of Arabia. It's about time
Alex.
for it.
Fuck it. Social Network.
What the hell is
This is an attack.
Lawrence of Arabia.
I'm sticking with October Sky.
Hey, I want to stick with Catch Me If You Can, but
Actually-
apparently it was like a no-win situation.
October Sky.
Thank you.
Tony.
October Sky.
Thank you. All right.
But Chad, what do you have for 8?
Number 8. Yeah, I'll stick with Lawrence of Arabia.
Alex.
Social Network.
Lawrence of Arabia. Jonathan.
Catch Me.
Ooh, can I change mine to Catch Me? I'll change mine to Catch Me If You Can.
Moneyball. I'm on a stream.
Catch Me If You Can.
I'm on a stream thing. Oh, okay. I'll see you later. See you. Okay.
So, wait, what? So we have another tie, or
There's
Oh,
3.
I said Catch. I said switch mine to Catch Me.
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
Fair.
Let's be honest, I don't think Lawrence of Arabia would have gone out either. So.
It's been a while. Okay, I think this is a perfect spot for this movie.
Okay. Can you put down
Yeah, so what we've got left is we've got Malcolm X,
Right.
Lawrence of Arabia, Social Network, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, Schindler's List, and Moneyball.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect spot for this movie, for me, in my opinion.
Right. But you know, I've still got the Lawrence of Arabia. Jonathan,
Moneyball.
Richie,
Moneyball. He says.
Tony,
Moneyball.
I'd Walk the Line.
Chad,
I'm not gonna say Moneyball. I'll say Lawrence of Arabia again, but obviously it's Moneyball.
Yeah.
All right, now this is tough. Okay. Yeah, this is a tough one.
Jonathan,
Social Network.
Richie,
Wolf of Wall Street.
Tony,
Social Network.
Chad,
Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh boy.
Alex.
I'd Walk the Line.
I had Lawrence of Arabia. So we've got
I didn't know you guys love Walk the Line so damn much. Like,
Walk the Line's been off the list for.
It's already on.
Yeah,
It's already
off
on
the list.
wait, what?
Walk the Line's 11.
it got number 11.
So
did
you
I
still
just,
have a
like,
vote.
I've been like looking at like the ones on the side here.
Oh,
I'm thinking those were the ones that were taken. Malcolm.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm basing off this, and I'm like, why isn't it Walk the Line? I thought I was taking it. Right. Well, fuck me then. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
okay. Fair. Fine.
I'm surprised you didn't go Social Network, to be honest. But
oh, actually, can I change it to Social Network? I'm too trying.
Robin knows that was the clue I
Not
was
that it
going to ask you
matters,
about.
but Social Network.
Yeah. Social Network.
Okay, now this is this is easy.
Now I'm really sad.
Okay. Can you put it in the private chat, Malcolm, as well?
Yeah.
I just want to double check.
We got Malcolm, Lawrence, Goodfellas, Wolf, and Schindler's.
Richie, what do you have for 5?
I said Schindler's List.
Tony,
Wolf of Wall Street.
Chad,
Lawrence of Arabia.
Alex,
Goodfellas.
Lawrence of Arabia, Jonathan.
Wolf of Wall Street.
So I got 2 for Lawrence, 2 for Wolf.
I can change my thing though.
Yeah, if you want to change it, go for it.
I'll change mine to Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, it is.
I think it's time for this one. Number 4.
All right. Tony, what do you have for 4?
Goodfellas.
Chad,
Lawrence of Arabia.
Alex,
Goodfellas.
Lawrence of Arabia, Jonathan,
Lawrence of Arabia.
and Richie.
I start with Schindler's List.
So Lawrence. Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia is going to be 4.
Malcolm X. Goodfellas.
And Schindler's.
Right.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Okay.
This is tough.
And I actually get to change my board. Fine.
Finally.
When talking about biopics,
Will Malcolm put his own name on the board?
yeah. No, actually.
Chad, what do you have for 3?
I'm going with Goodfellas.
Alex,
Goodfellas.
I like how you just scratched it. You just put
I put
Goodfellas.
Schindler's List.
I'm like twisting it around with one hand, dude.
Jonathan.
Understandable. This is tough. Any one of these 3 could be number 1. So I put Schindler's List.
Richie,
Yeah, I start with Schindler's List.
Tony,
Ooh.
3.
Oh. Okay.
right, so as a tie between Goodfellas and Schindler's List, if there was anyone in the chat, I would go to that, but no one's actually commented anything recently, so I'm doing this.
Flip a
It'll
coin.
be very. I mean, Fellas.
I didn't know we were gonna play classics this late. Come on. Come on.
Right.
Ooh. Okay.
And it's going to be Schindler's List.
Okay.
Now we put the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Now we put number 1. Yeah. But Jonathan, what was your number one?
Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies of all time. But as a biopic, Malcolm X. So this is number one for me.
Richie,
Malcolm X.
Tony,
Malcolm X.
Chad,
Will this be unanimous? Malcolm X.
Alex.
Not that it matters, but Malcolm X.
Nice.
I went Goodfellas because I've never seen Malcolm X.
Interesting.
You just got to be such a freaking contrarian, Malcolm. Seriously.
But with that, after probably about the runtime of Gandhi, we have finally got a top 12. At number 12, we've got Monster. At 11, we've got Walk the Line. At 10, we've got Ed Wood. At 9, we've got October Sky. At 8, we've got Catch Me If You Can. At 7, we've got Moneyball. At 6, we've got The Social Network. At 5, we've got The Wolf of Wall Street. At 4, we've got Lawrence of Arabia. At 3, we've got Schindler's List. At 2, we've got Goodfellas. And at number 1, we've got Malcolm X.
That's a strong list. That's a strong top 12.
I've got the poll for next week's topic on the board already. One thing I did forget to do at the start, but I'll do it now. Hopefully I've exported it. Is I like updating what the poll results were for the previous topic, which was movies based on kids' book. And it changed a lot in the poll because at number 1 equally was Willy Wonka and the Half-Blood Princess Bride, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Wizard of Oz, Mary Poppins, heading to Mrs. Doubtfire, and one I actually had to put an asterisk beside because I was reminded in the comments that the book Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not a kid's book. I had no idea about that. Last time it came up on a few lists that I was looking at, so I thought, oh yeah, I'll put it there. I think I was the one that nominated it. And so it's the first time we had to do, I had to do a major correction like that. Unfortunately, it's going to live forever on the list. We can't go back in time and change that now.
Well, not with that
It's
attitude.
always going to have that asterisk. But that being said, Jonathan, where can people find you online?
You can find me on my social media platforms, Twitter at JohnCarroll4, and also on Instagram. And I also have a letterbox and another Instagram account called CineCarro, CINE_CARO, where on Instagram I post reviews, some fun actual things, and polls. And next month I will do a top 25 Christmas movies countdown.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, if you want the link, please DM me on Facebook and or Instagram and or Twitter. And so you can fill out your personal Christmas movies list, unconventional or traditional. And have a great Thanksgiving week.
You too.
Richie, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on all the all the trivia spaces and on Facebook. I post my comedy stuff there, but obviously mainly around Australia, so I probably won't be around a lot of people. But yeah, it's something you can follow me there. I was on a feature presentation this week talking. Drafting 1985 movies. You want to check that out? I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on Jordan Anderson's channel, Movie Hero, talking tier ranking 1980s comedies. So check that. I think it's this week sometime. And other than that, I had fun. Probably the longest ranking we've been part of, but biopics a very broad category. So yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was a mistake making this a broad category. I'm probably going to do more biopics ones, but actually narrow it down. I made the same mistake with TV themes back in the early days. I've barely not learned from that.
I got a Facebook page and I play in some of the fan leagues, so you can catch me there. Yeah, that's about it.
Chad, we can be for you online.
Yeah, I mean, I do letterbox stuff. I'm under Chadwick Webb. That's my name. I recently I've been mostly doing a lot of TMG stuff. I'm in the TMG singles tournament. I hope to jump into the geek realm. And I've also been doing really well in the movie battlegrounds, which is like a debate show, which is really fun. I would like people to try to watch that more, maybe even try to compete if you're interested in debate. It's really fun. But I also do a really fun show on the Dill Pickle Movie Network. That's my buddy's channel, and we do a show called Picture This. It's an Oscar show. So like every month we pick a year of the Oscars. It's just a way for us to watch like every Best Picture nominee. And so we've made a show out of it. So we watch all the movies from any given year, and then we rank them. We talk about the movies. We nominate actors and actresses from the year, and we're doing 1961 this month. So West Side Story, stuff like that. So yeah, it's a fun time. Check that out, please. Like and subscribe.
Alex, where can people find you online?
You can find me right here on Twitter. I co-host a show with Drew Grand, aka Video Drew from Movie Trivia Schmodown fame. It's a fun time where we dive into what our movie bias is for, against a certain actor, director, genre, what have you. It's a real fun time. We go live at 10 o'clock Eastern every Tuesday, and sometimes we have guests, which is really cool. But yeah, we do that every Tuesday, so definitely check it out on Drew's channel. But I also am on a mission to complete 300 first-time watches this year.
Nice.
300 is a big number. I'm gonna get that big number now. But I'm currently on like 235 or something like that right now. No rewatches. If I included rewatches, I would be over 300 now, but I'm not including it. So, but yeah, so it's been a fun time. So you can find me on Twitter as I try to find that number.
Yeah, and you can find me on Take 3, Full Metal, all the usual places. I'm also watching movies I've never seen before. I'm at 338 first time watches this year. But
Jesus.
But that being said, that's the end of the show. Until next time, just remember to keep this thing short. Yeah.